is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show. This.
So here we are. I wanted to show you the backyard again because we had some trouble last time, but you know, cuttersedgepro.com does some amazing stuff, and there are the boys and the girl. They're having fun. There we go. Right, Maiden? Right, Bono? There we go. They're having fun. I'm having fun. Look at our Sylvester palm. It is beautiful. We got another one in the front yard like that. You can take your home and landscaping to the next level. And the artificial turf, look at that. Look at that, the two dinosaurs going at it, huh? Look at that. You gotta love the dinosaurs. Look at them. They like to bite each other's legs. That's what they do. They play with each other and then they bite each other and they piss each other off. It's fun. One is Bono, which is the one farther away from you, and Maiden. She's the girl right here. She's a badass. That's for sure. So anyway, see the flowers are coming out. Very nice. Cuttersedgepro.com, folks. This big tree there will start budding that I'm showing you there soon. It'll have all kinds of flowers. I'll post another video and I'll show it to you. This is a backyard where everybody gets to hang out. Over there in the corner there, I put the barbecue and cook. So that way it's the farthest away from the house, you know. If I light myself on fire or somebody else, we're out in the corner away from everybody. There you go. So you're getting some flowers coming out, which is a beautiful thing. And I swear by this artificial turf, it always looks phenomenal. I don't have to cut it. I don't have to water it. And so I'm saving a lot of money, hundreds and thousands in the long run, because I'm not watering or, of course, cutting the grass. And you know, here in South Florida, we cut the grass like every 10 to 14 days.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome aboard to the program on a beautiful Friday. Well, at least I hope it's beautiful wherever you're at in the world. It is beautiful because we get to enjoy another day, which we thank the Lord for that, to be able to enjoy another day. Sean Stanley by my side. We are at the beautiful dealership that is Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines, a place we've been broadcasting from, I don't know, I want to say like the last 13, 14 years. I got to look back. After you've been here for a while, it's like all the years run into each other. And then you're like, is this year 13 or 14 or is it 15 or what is it? It's been a long time. It's a long time here. So yes, rocking and rolling with the folks here at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. So come on out if you want to come by and visit us. Anthony Chiang is going to stop by at 10:30, talk a little Heat. Safid Dean will join us and talk a little Miami Dolphins. We'll have some other stuff going on throughout the week. And by the way, David Furones, will talk to him later in the afternoon, so that will drop. We'll talk to him after practice and after he talks to Mike McDaniel, so we'll get the latest on that. Connor Williams obviously hasn't practiced the last 2 days. What happens today? Doesn't look like he's going to play. What else? Manny Navarro will join me tomorrow, actually. So tomorrow we'll have Manny because we will be doing a post-game show tomorrow after the Canes UNC game. Yes, it is going to be a late one. Yes. Yes. Fortunately, we're in studio tomorrow. I mean, on Sunday. Sunday, we're in studio. Remember, for the Patriots game in 2 weeks, we are going to be at Walk-Ons in Kendall. So if you want to join us and watch the Dolphins kick the Patriots' ass, yeah, bum a check, another loss. You can join us in 2 weeks. We'll have giveaways and all kinds of stuff. T-shirts and everything, all kinds of stuff that we'll give away. So join us out there. We'll have some fun. What's that? No, the Patriot game I think is a 1:00 game. I want to say, is it really? Don't tell me it's don't. I hope it's not I think it's a 1:00 game. I hope it's not a primetime game. I've kind of had enough of the primetime games. Then it's the late night, and then the next day you got to wake up to do the show, and your voice is 1:00. Thank God. Yeah, no, I know the Eagles is a prime time. Yeah, you just want to screw us over, don't you? Yeah, no prime time. So thank the Lord, it's a 1:00 game next 2 weeks from now with the stinking Patriots. So we will be at Walk-Ons. Join us out there in Kendall. We'll have a little fun with that. Let's see. What else do we have going on in the world of sports? Cameron Wolf also will join us post-game. So we'll move Cam over to post-game too. So we'll have Cam Wolf straight out of the lockers. In post-game, Safid Dean and David Ferrone. So we'll have 3 insiders covering the locker rooms and then talking to us post-game. So I don't think anybody will bring you that. So if you want to join us, please join us there. We'll have some fun doing all of that. Let's see. Steve Chapman, number 1 on the chat board. Jamie Zoria is in from San Jose, reminding us, smash that like button, smash it, baby. Tim Eason is in. Ray Sosa, Gotti, 4453, Nyborg, TJ Bronsnan, Jonathan Jensen. Let's see. Great game last night. LOL. Which one? Because the Panthers sucked, and so did the football game. But I kind of expected the football game to suck. Lisa Rosen, Gus 1388, Daniel Marquez, Drago, Brooklyn Rob says happy Friday, getting myself ready for a big birthday weekend, finishing with a big Dolphins win. Well, happy birthday, Brooklyn Rob. That's very cool, my brother. Chad is in, Daniel Marquez. They go, I hope you have a better day, unlike Tony Khan. So you want to explain why Tony Khan is having a bad day?
Well, he's having a little bit of a meltdown on Twitter. He's a social media guy. He goes on social media. And the other day he went on and he tweeted out about John Cena and Undertaker. Tuesday night were the Wars, if you want to call it the Wars. Both great shows, Dynamite and NXT. NXT came out better on the ratings. Tony Khan comes out with a tweet because NXT only did 900,000. That's the first show that John Cena and Undertaker have been on that's been below 1 million. And then I myself jumped on that as well because I think it's a fanboy BS bullshit move by Tony Khan, the owner of AEW. If you're a fan, tweet what you want. You're an owner of a wrestling company. These are 2 wrestling icon legends, whatever you want to call them. And you use that as your source because you lost by 300,000 views. Then this morning goes on another tirade. His mother, thankfully, went to Mayo Clinic last year. Everything has been working out. And so that's good. But during that also, I guess he got word from some of the wrestlers in AEW that WWE was asking about their contracts and when they were coming up. Tony Khan considers that tampering. So Tony Khan at that point said that is when business became personal. Dude, you're going to drive yourself crazy. You're competing with the machine. I get it. Tony Khan and his dad probably have more money than Vince McMahon and all them will ever have, more than Endeavor. I get all that. Are you going to spin that on a war? That's what Ted Turner tried to do, and you saw what happened with that.
Right.
So it's just he's being a fanboy instead of being an owner and building on the show that they had. I thought it was a good show. Build on that. Instead, you're trying to throw rocks because you lost in the ratings. To me, look, the only people that care about the ratings are the TV right holders, honestly.
Right, yeah.
But the shows, if you're a wrestling fan, both of them were good. Build on the positive. Instead, he just stays focusing on the negative. And to me, if I didn't have the Squared Circle Digest, I even went back and forth with Frankie Fresco yesterday. I said, I'm boycotting AEW. I'm not going to watch it. You talk AEW on the show because I'm done watching it. If he's going to be a fanboy instead of being an owner and putting on good shows, I don't need that.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Well, hopefully the owner doesn't screw up his own business. Luis Medina is in the house. One-Eyed Jack, Devin Jordan, Alexis, Zuko, Tiger Shark Tony, Coach AJ, Steve D'Onofrio, Brian Walters. Thank you all for tuning in. 6193. Yes, sir. Tuning in from St. Louis, says TJ. Yeah, exactly. Frank Sharp is in. Emilio Hernandez says, Frank Clark is released by Denver. Is he worth looking into bringing? I knew the Frank Clark stuff was coming. He's a pass rusher. He's an edge guy, not really a middle guy. And you really need more of a middle guy. I don't think Frank Clark, he'll probably go back to Kansas City, bro. It's probably where he's going to go. He's used to it. They know him there. He'll take less to go there. He's already got his money from these guys. So he's not coming here, bro. It's not an option. But I'm sure you want to trade for Jerry Jeudy and sign Frank Clark, and like all Dolph fans, they want to sign every player available out there. I don't think Frank Clark makes any sense for the Dolphins, to be quite honest. So only because Frank really doesn't play what they need, which is in the middle. That's what they need. If they can get a thumper, somebody that can move around and get some tackles, then yeah, maybe. But outside of that, I don't think they're going to bring a guy like Frank Clark in.
And Greer and McDaniel both have kind of shown that if they think you can do something or add something to the team, they're going to give it the opportunity. They get it for low hang. Again, you're low hanging, like Chase Claypool. They don't have that size. Hey, right. There you go.
Right.
Let's get them.
Exactly. I don't think Frank Clark brings anything right now that they desperately need. He's not really getting a lot of sacks either, which is what he's supposed to do. So yeah, it's not worth it. That one's not worth it for the Dolphins. So I would say no there, my brother. Dwayne Dugan is in. Duck Dog, Josh Hart. We better kick ass on Sunday. I don't care that the Panthers suck. I agree. They'll get it done. They'll pass the test. It's next week, my brother. That's the one that I'm excited for, because then we can start to feel even better if they start taking those kind of steps forward. You know what I'm saying? So, last night, Panthers lost to the Wild to open up the season. Man, there's 81 more games, all of that. But I'll give you something that I just, because, a lot of people are like, well, the Panthers got to the Stanley Cup, and, people are going to be giving them their best shot and this, that. And we also have to remember, and I think that we might get a little bit of a rude awakening. I hope I'm wrong here. Look, I'm not the hockey expert, okay? One, I don't think their defense still is good enough. Two, you've got injuries to Montour and Ekblad. When they come back, you'll be better defensively. Now you're going to put a bunch of guys in positions that they probably can't handle. They don't really have the depth on defense. I don't know what Bob you're getting from one night to another, to be quite honest. They snuck into the playoffs last year with their, third, fourth string goalie and Lion saving their asses. And then they went on this incredible run that got them to the finals. And then obviously they were so broken and beaten down at that point, they just didn't have any game left. So I don't know what you got in the Panthers yet. I know you got a playoff team, right? But are they really as good as what they showed last year? I actually don't think so. You know what I mean? And so I kind of need to be proven that they can play defense, really good defense, Stanley Cup type defense to go deep into the playoffs. And then I got to be proven that Bob's going to be consistent, and that's never happened since he's put on a Panthers uniform, including last year. So this whole thing, I hear so much talk about, they're the Stanley Cup finalists and this, that, and I think you're holding the Panthers to a higher standard than they deserve, actually. And I think this team still has a lot to prove. And I think a lot of what happened last year was incredibly flukish. So I don't see the substance that I need from that team yet. You know what I mean? Is there talent? Are they fast? Can they score goals? Yeah, I think they have that stuff. But I don't know about everything else with it. And so it's kind of like a wait and see for me with the Panthers. I'm watching last night, and I just don't really know what team I'm going to get from one night to another. That's what I saw. So we'll see what happens overall. And long season. Long season. Bob had 19 saves yesterday, allowing the 2 goals. You going to say something?
Well, I was going to say, almost comparing to what you talk about with the Dolphins. Right now, they're good.
Right.
Can they be great?
Yeah. Yes. Although I think the Dolphins are better than the Panthers right now.
Yes. Because of the injuries that they're holding out. And then also, they haven't proven that defensive side yet, as you said.
Yeah. I think actually the Panthers are more complete than the Dolphins are more complete than the Panthers. That's why I'm furious in the loss to Buffalo and the terrible loss to Buffalo. This is a really good Dolphins team. They cannot screw this up. Neither one of these coaches can screw this up. They better maximize what they have here with the Dolphins, dude. I need that badly. Badly. I need that. I don't want you to ruin this window because this is the beginning of maybe a 3-year window that you have to compete for a title. And I'm telling you, this is the first year of it. And if they can play up to snuff, they can get all the way to the finals. They can get to the Super Bowl. But you got to start crossing that final test. 2 weeks from now, we'll see if they can start to cross that final test and start winning those kind of games, man. Let's see the chat board here. The effort was there. Just great goalie play by Minnesota. Really, we outshot them and nothing was dropping in. We controlled the puck. They didn't play bad last night. They didn't. I'm just not convinced that their defense is good enough. I need to see. I know that they can score, and they didn't score last night. I know they got speed and all that. I see it. I'm just not convinced yet with their defense. John Padilla is in the house. Nikolai says, Big O, what do we do about this center situation? I know Connor will most likely sit this game, but man, our back's up. Yikes, a.k.a. Yikes, Eichenberg. Let's get into Eichenberg because let me tell you why it's a positive for Connor Williams to be out this week. Okay? Yeah. I just said it's a positive for Connor Williams to be out this week. Okay? And I'm going to go by some of the information I gathered from inside the building. And then I'm going to add my opinion and what I think is going on. Okay? Before you crash your car, before you throw up in your office, chair right now, before you punch the screen, before you want to come on over to 15601 Pines Boulevard and choke me out or something. Like, what are you talking about? Okay, Connor Williams obviously is the most important center on the team. You need him. He's a monster blocker. And actually, it's just a few snaps. He's got a tweak. And, overall, he does a really, really good job. So I don't want him to go anywhere. But talking to people inside the building, okay, and they have not given up on Eichenberg, clearly. And remember, they didn't give up on Austin Jackson. And they figured it out. And they told you that Isaiah Wynn, and they like what they saw from him, and they like what they saw from Kendall Lamb. And so, everything is kind of worked out pretty much except for Eichenberg. But one of the things that they loved about Eichenberg's outing is that mentally he nailed all the calls. He had them in the right protections. He did all the right things. Now, did he make all the right blocks? No, he did not. But his snapping was pretty much solid except for one low snap, if I remember correctly. He had that one that was like he was walking a dog or something. It came right around the floor. That was it. And they felt that, considering it was his first outing ever as a center, and it was against the Buffalo Bills, his first starting, they actually thought he played well. Because it's so chaotic. It's such a great defensive front that it was really too much for them to ask, to expect him to really go in there and dominate and play a clean game and all that. So they feel he still has a future where he can build on this. I get it. You're saying no. I'm saying no. I tell them no. Okay? But when they come back at you and say, well, didn't it work out for this guy? Hasn't it worked out for this guy? Isn't it working out? Aren't we the number one rushing team in the NFL? Are we, it's like, well, when do we get the benefit of the doubt? And then that's when I'm like this, look, what do I answer when somebody tells me, when do we get the benefit of the doubt? Right? Seriously, think about that. Think about that. That's a hell of a line to tell me. Like, okay, you guys keep telling us that we can't do this and we're not going to do this, and yet we're protecting the quarterback. We're running the ball at a better pace than anyone in the NFL. And linemen are getting better, right? And like they said, aren't you guys bragging about Austin Jackson now? So think about this, okay? And what are you going to do? So they kind of feel that this is the opposite of what happened in Buffalo. You're not playing against a Buffalo front that is super nasty. Carolina's got a nice front, but it's not dominant like Buffalo. It's just not. Yeah, you got Brian Burns. Okay, but Eichenberg's not dealing with Brian Burns. Okay? So they kind of feel that this is like the perfect game for him to keep getting more reps and be prepared just in case something happens to Connor. Because if he doesn't get more playing time, how does he get better? How does Austin Jackson get better? How does Isaiah Wynn get better? How does Kendall Lamb get better? How does Connor Williams get better at center? A new position for him in the last year plus. You got to play. And so this, you look at it, this might be a positive in that sense. That if maybe you get Eichenberg more playing time, what happens? Just for craps and giggles, okay? Forget about what we feel about Eichenberg and he's not turning the corner and all that. And by the way, after conversations with multiple people in the building, it's funny how you end up changing your mind going, you know what, maybe Eichenberg does turn the corner. You know what, let me wait. You know? And I know Teron Armstead got injured because of Eichenberg, and I understand all of this. I'm with you there. But they deserve the benefit of the doubt. And so let's see what happens if Connor does miss this week and Eichenberg is playing. Then, obviously as Dolphin fans, we all hope for the best. You know what I mean? As much as we cringe and we don't believe in Eichenberg and all of that. But again, it just maybe some people, it takes them a little while to turn the corner. In Eichenberg's case, you have moved him for several positions. You have now finally let him sit at one position now, not for very long. It's only been a couple of months at center. It hasn't been a year or two or anything. It's only been months at center and one game started. Is it really fair? Are we just mounting all the shit from before on him now? You see what I'm saying? And so it's just kind of weird like that. It's a weird dynamic, ladies and gentlemen, because you and I can quit on Eichenberg and we can say he can't play, and they say, hey, man, we see something there, and yet they're developing all the other guys. Maybe they do go 3 for 3. Maybe Eichenberg does turn the corner along with Hunt and Jackson. It just took him a little longer because you had to find a place for him. It's weird, man. It's an odd dynamic. It puts us all in a really weird emotional position, right? But at the same time, I think the Dolphins organization and coaching staff has earned the benefit of the doubt on Eichenberg. Really. It's not so much on what you've seen from Eichenberg. It's more of what you've seen from them. And how do you argue with that? When do we get the benefit of the doubt? He goes, I get it, man. Shit's been going on here for 20 years. That's not our fault. It's true. It's all true. And you know how I tell you all the time that stop carrying the burdens of the past with these guys? We're doing it with Eichenberg in a way. We're really kind of not giving the coaching staff that is proving to us consistently with the offensive linemen the benefit of the doubt. Because remember, if Eichenberg couldn't play, okay, then Cotton would be there now. They would move on to the next guy. They have not moved on to the next guy. Olave is sitting in the practice squad, a pure center. Rookie, but pure center. They're not activating him. They're not starting to get him reps. None of that's going on. They have stayed steadfast like they did with Austin Jackson. And so when do they get the benefit of the doubt? That's just an amazing line. And it left me speechless. And I couldn't say anything because they're right. By the way, if your business wants to be a part of our platform, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. I mean, think about it. You've seen an offense like this? Ever? Prior Marino and everything. During Marino, everything. You ever seen an offense like this? No. We're not used to offenses that are explosive passing and running. Weird. Like, really? We're treated to that? Wow, that's awesome. What is Connor Williams' contract situation? It's up at the end of the year. That's it. Vape Pen and Big O, I am set. There you go, dude. 67. Spark it up. Talk about the lack of self-awareness. Appreciate your insight, sir. Thank you, Emilio. Josh Hart, Liam Eichenberg, and the Dolphins are the Titanic. LOL. How is the best offense in the NFL the Titanic? I'm not exactly sure. Oh, the iceberg. Okay. All right. I get it. Well, is he the reason why you lost to Buffalo? No. It's such a tiny part of why you lost to Buffalo. You lost to Buffalo because you got your asses handed to you in every way possible. Ray says, I hope you're right. I just haven't seen much out of Eichenberg at center. His snapping is decent, but his blocking has a lot to be desired. Bro, it's not me. I'm right. I'm not telling you that Eichenberg is turning the corner. I'm not telling you he's great. I'm just telling you they're right. They do deserve the benefit of the doubt. They couldn't work with Eichenberg last year. He was injured. They've only worked with him for one game. They're right, actually. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying we maybe are, I know that the patience, but we didn't have any patience for Austin Jackson, and he turned the corner. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not telling you that I'm telling you that I tell them I don't believe in Eichenberg, and then they tell me what I just told you. And when I tell you what they tell me, then you've got to say, they're right. Maybe we need to be a little bit more patient, as painful as it may be. Let's see. Big O, what do we do about this center situation? I think Casey. Oh, wait a minute here. I think this Casey is beatable. Last night they didn't play well. I believe the Dolphins can beat them. Steven? I think the Dolphins can beat the Bills. I think the Dolphins can beat the Eagles. I think the Dolphins can beat the Chiefs. I think the Dolphins can beat the Niners. But they have to prove that they can beat them. They have to take that next step forward on the defensive side of the ball. Mike McDaniel has to be able to counter in the middle of a game. What happened to him against the Chargers cannot happen to him. What happened to him the following week against San Francisco cannot happen to him. What happened to him against the Bills in the playoff game on third down when he wasn't prepared cannot happen to him. What happened to him 2 weeks ago against the Bills when they stifled his offense cannot happen to him. He has to have a quicker, response. He has to be able to counter when people are stifling what he's doing. He has failed to do that a couple times. The Dolphins have the talent on defense. They have the talent on offense to win nowadays. They have the quarterback. But the one thing that they don't have is the proof. While you have the talent and you have the coaches and you have a great front office, you have zero track record of beating the elite on a consistent basis. This is why I'm sure he's doing a rant about it from yesterday that I talked about, going from good to great. The Dolphins have been good a whole bunch of times in the last 30 years. They were good the Wildcat year. They were good the Jay Ajayi year. They were good the Lamar Smith year. They were good with Ricky Williams a couple times. They were good with those defenses and Jimmy Johnson. They were never great. And there's a reason why you've lost 12 out of 14 since Sean McDermott, took over for the Bills. So if you're 2-12 against your divisional foe that owns the division, then you're not ready yet. So they can beat those teams. It's now in the past, the Ricky Williams teams, The Jimmy Johnson teams, the Jay Ajayi teams, the Lamar Smith teams, none of them could really beat the elite. Those teams were never good enough. This is the first time, take it from an old man that's been covering and watching this team for over 50 years. This is the best offense and defense they've had prior to Marino. Okay? But it's unproven. You can't beat the elite on a consistent basis. I'm not talking about winning once in a while. That can happen with any team. Any team can beat another team. Last year, Houston lit up Kansas City and almost beat them, put 500 yards on them. They lost by a couple points. Kansas City eked it out, almost won that game. And Houston was the worst team in the league. And like that, there are teams that lose to the worst team or second or third worst team in the league. It can happen. So that's the threshold that's left for the Miami Dolphins. Let's see if they can figure it out this season. They got 3 more tests. Philly coming up. They got KC, and they got Buffalo. You need to start winning those games. All right, let's switch gears. Let's talk a little basketball. Anthony Chiang from the Miami Herald is ready to go with our BaptistHealth.net/ortho Miami Heat report.
Heat fans, the fast break is on. It's our Baptist Health of South Florida Heat report with insider Anthony Chiang. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at BaptistHealth.net. Here's Anthony Chiang.
All right. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
Good, Big O. It's Friday. How are you?
Yes, it's Friday. It's Friday, you bastards. I doubt you remember that from the Neil Rogers show. You were really young when he would play that drop.
I remember Neil, but I don't remember that.
He had a drop on Fridays that he would. Yeah. It's Friday, you bastards. He would throw that. It was just like a voice like that too. Yeah. It was actually pretty funny. Heat Spurs tonight. One of the things, and it's preseason. I don't put a ton of weight on it. I don't really care. I rarely care about the regular season, let's be honest. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that I loved about the offseason was Thomas Bryant. And I thought you needed depth at that position badly last year. We all know that. And I think you have actually quality depth this year at that position. And to me, Thomas Bryant was exactly what I expected him to be, because as a fantasy player, I've had to use Thomas Bryant at times. I'll sneak him in for, filling in for an injured player one night or something, or knowing that somebody's out and he's going to fill in. I know what kind of player he is. He's a really good role player, man. I love that addition, and he showed his wares the other night.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about depth at the center spot. Behind Bam this year, you have Thomas Bryant. You have Orlando Robinson, who's better than last year. You have Kevin Love, who could play some center minutes as well if he need to stretch the floor. And all 3 of those guys can stretch the floor. They could all hit, shoot, take, and make threes at a respectable rate. But specifically Thomas Bryant, you saw the skill set that intrigued the Heat this offseason in that preseason opener, especially offensively. He's skilled offensively. He can hit the 3, like we just said. He has good post moves, good footwork. Is a really good finisher on the basket throughout his whole career. Can
Tough
finish.
Guy.
Tough guy, plays physical, plays with energy, 7 of 7 from the line. And look, the Heat are going to ask him, if it looks like he's the backup center for now, the Heat are going to ask him to play 12 to 15 minutes. It's like, just go out there, leave it all, empty the tank, and do what you do. I think the question with him is defensively. You would think he'd be a good defender because he's physical. He plays with energy. But you look at the analytics, he's actually one of the worst defenders in the NBA based on the numbers, based on the metrics. And that's why he really hasn't found a consistent role in the NBA yet. He's kind of moved around a lot.
He's a decent rebounder.
He's a good rebounder. He's actually a really good defensive rebounder. So that's a good thing. I think I honestly, I haven't watched him closely enough yet. We've only seen one preseason game to kind of know what the issues are defensively. I'm kind of wondering the same thing. But the numbers say he is not a good defender. So that's going to be the big question. We know he could fit offensively. And to a certain extent, that's kind of what the Heat needed, right? Because their offense was not good last year. So to have a center who could actually score some points when Bam's on the bench is a good thing. But I think the thing to watch for is his defense. Can he hold up on that end of the court, and can Eric Spoelstra trust him for 15 minutes a game? We'll see about that.
Yeah, no, that's interesting because I'm looking at most of his career. 4 years in Washington, they don't really teach you defense there. He only played 18 games in Denver and played 41 games for the Lakers. So it's hard to get a rhythm
right
in all of that. And I've watched this guy. I think he will turn out to be a good defender because he's a tough guy. He's an effort guy. I think he's a heat guy, to be quite honest. Watching him over the years, I think it's going to change here. I think he hasn't been in the environment that actually teaches you fundamentally how to play defense on a consistent basis. I think he's going to get that here. I don't think he's had that foundation. That's what I think.
I think that's what the Heat are banking on, right? We know that he drill defense.
Yeah.
I think you've kind of seen a turn actually in recent years where they're like, give me a guy with an offensive skill set because we really, it's hard to teach that. And we could make them a solid defender, or at least a respectable defender that can hold up and play that we could trust. So I think that's what they're banking on with Thomas Bryant. Like you said, he plays physical, he's high energy, he's athletic, like should be at least a decent defender. So we'll see. I mean, the preseason opener was really encouraging. I mean, Eric Spoelstra mentioned after the game, like we needed to fill that. That was a need we needed to fill. And they feel like batting Thomas Bryant, they helped fill that need. They are outscored by 4 points per 100 possessions with Bam on the bench last year. That, with all the close games that he played last season, that was the backup center spot cost them play at least.
Yes.
Maybe 10 games. I mean, if you just have a guy who just breaks even when he's out there, when Bam's on the bench, they probably win 5-6 more games last regular season.
And the bull crap that they pulled last year, putting Caleb at power forward, you also wore the kid out too physically, and you got him out of his game, and he didn't go play his game.
Right.
And that hurt your team too, because you saw what Caleb could be playing his game and how much better you are. But, such a piss poor effort last year to get power forwards and centers that it just puts you in a terrible position, which they attacked it this year. They this year that wasn't going to happen to them again. And sure enough, they got plenty of size now, dude. And I think the Thomas Bryant thing is going to change completely. I really do. I think he's going to be a solid defender, actually. Not all right or half decent or a slight improvement. No. I think he's going to be a good defender when it's all said and done, because he's got the heart. He's got the determination.
Right.
He's a tough guy. He's an effort guy. He's a heat guy. I've watched this guy I'm a fantasy basketball player. So, you watch the whole league when you're a fantasy basketball player. And I'm telling you, Thomas Bryant fits the Miami Heat. I love that pickup, dude. That was one I really enjoyed. I think he'll work out. By the way, your boy Cole Swider was
I was thinking about that.
was swishing the other night. That was nice.
No, he could definitely shoot the ball. I think that's pretty obvious, right? It's kind of like the same questions with Duncan. Can he play defense? Can he stay on the court? Is he going to be played off? Can he do some other things? I mean, Duncan has had to spend years trying to develop other areas of his game to counter.
But he's longer.
He's a couple inches taller. Yes.
Yeah,
he's
longer. So I love him as a stretch four.
Yeah.
And it's because you only had Love to do that kind of stuff.
It's just I don't know. We'll see if he could defend power forwards in this league. That's going to be
okay.
Tough.
You are correct.
Yeah.
But situationally.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
At the end of a half, at the end of a game,
you're down by 10 points. You need some points. You need to score. You put him in there.
Dude.
Gets hot. Yeah.
You put him on the floor with a couple of real defenders, but he's a stretch guy. And so it's something that Jimmy can really benefit from, that all of a sudden you've got Duncan on one corner and Swider on the other. Go ahead, baby. Go ahead. Pick your Swider. Come on, let's go. Double me up. Wham. I'm finding the open guy. So you're right. It would be nice if he adds defense to it, but that's really not in his repertoire as it is.
I don't think he'll ever be a great defender, obviously. It's like Duncan, where like you can only hope that he's just a a serviceable defender. He can hold up.
Whereas with Brian, I have a
Yeah.
completely different attitude and outlook for him. I
Right.
think he will be a good role player and a very good defender for them overall. Not a great one, not Bam or
Mhm.
anything, but he's going to do his job. I think you're going to go, wow, this guy can play, he can rebound, he can defend, because he's going to have the environment to be able to do that. I think with Cole, I think I think what you did, you added another sharpshooter. But
Yeah,
what
and
you
they needed
added
that. They
was
need that. Yeah.
all sharpshooter.
Yeah.
which
6'9".
you desperately needed, because
Yeah.
if Kevin Love is in foul trouble, then that gives you one less option where you can have a stretch 4-5. Now all of a sudden with Cole out there, you got Cole, Duncan, and Love out there. If you wanted at the end of a final
Right.
possession, that would be pretty cool. With
Yeah.
let's say
Next to Bam and Jimmy. Right.
exactly
Yeah.
Bam and Jimmy, two facilitators and two ball handlers.
You guys take it into the paint relentlessly. Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's the thing I love about Cole, is that even if he doesn't completely become a complete player, he is a weapon they didn't have. And then Thomas Bryant fills another need. See, that's what I like what they did. They clearly saw what they didn't have last year and said, we're not doing that again.
Mhm.
And they went and got it. And this team is deeper and more complete, dude.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. I think a lot of people kind of raised their eyebrows when Eric Spoelstra last week said, "I think we're deeper than we were last year."
Yes.
After losing Max and Gabe, but adding Jay Rich and Thomas Bryant, those were really your own big additions. But it's like more positional depth, right? Like it's depth, like functional depth, where you have now like 2 or 3 power forwards you could turn to. You have 3 centers you could turn to that you wouldn't blink an eye. You didn't have that last year. I guess the only position that you're thin at is point guard. But
right, ball handling is, dude, I'm not worried about the points you lost.
Right.
The points you lost will be replaced. The only thing I'm concerned about was the ball handling you lost from Gabe Vincent and the creation that you lost. And it's not a ton of creation that Gabe does, but at least it's something important behind Lowry. That's the only area I don't know if you've replaced, but
We'll
the
see.
rest of the team will be better actually than they were last year.
They're hoping that Jay Rich can take on some of that ball handling duties. We'll see, right? If he can create some, he's a slasher. He could take some of the pressure off of Jimmy and Bam with the ball in his hands. And obviously, you saw Tyler Hero, you saw Jimmy and Bam, who are gonna have the ball in their hands a lot. This team really doesn't use a natural point guard. We've said it a lot, right? Even when Kyle was in there in that starting lineup, he was just standing there. A lot of times it was Tyler with the ball in his hands, and that's why Kyle wasn't a good fit for their starting group. He didn't take any shots because he wasn't being used as a point guard, really. He was being used as a spot-up shooter. So what we've seen is with this roster, they don't need a true point guard. But it's nice to have the depth of if you need one. Like Gabe, you have Gabe and Kyle, two point guards you could turn to kind of run the offense. But this year, they really don't have that luxury.
Is there, as a writer, have you already targeted any teams with an extra point guard that could trade? Because I haven't.
It's early.
I haven't even gotten into my fantasy draft, bro. So
it's early.
I'm just wondering if you haven't thought of it yet.
No, okay. I mean, I think I want to see. I think obviously the Heat are going to see what this roster can do, how it looks, right? And then a couple months down the road, if they feel like they need another ball handler, they'll probably address it, right? We've talked about Goran. Goran is still out there. I know he wants to join the Heat, but I don't think that's likely right now. Kendrick Nunn is another guy, but it's just the market's dried up right now. There's not many guys out there. I guess we'll see.
Anybody in Europe that we are overlooking that could be out there?
I mean, Kendrick Nunn might be playing in Europe soon. I think he has an offer from a European team.
I just think he's so inconsistent. I don't think the Heat will bring him back.
I don't think at this point anybody you get that's a free agent is not going to play much. You're not going to be able to rely on them. There's a reason why they still haven't been signed by a team. I guess maybe a point guard could become available on cutdown day in a week, right? When teams have to trim their rosters and maybe some guys get cut that are surprising. Maybe the Heat like them and bring them in. We'll see. But right now, even if they do that, I still feel like they're going to go with the rotation of Kyle as whether it's a starting point guard or backup point guard, and then just Jay Rich, Tyler Hero, Bam, Jimmy, kind of all handling. We even saw Jaime Jaquez
I love
the ball
him,
in his
bro.
hands a lot, right? Like he could play a little bit of point guard kind of.
He's
so
super
it's
crafty, bro. He's super freaking crafty.
He's skilled. You could tell he's a 4-year college guy because he does not look like a rookie.
Smart, man. I love players like that. I think he's going to play That's the guy I didn't want to trade in the
Right.
not
No,
that
they
I
look
was going
good.
to tell you, oh no trade for Lillard.
Right,
Of
right.
course
But
you
you'd
make a
rather
trade
not.
no
You'd
matter
rather
what.
not. Yeah.
But I was like, no, go ahead, take Jovic, bro. You could take Jovic. Give me Jaquez because I love smart players and crafty players. And I just think he's going to be better than what we even imagined this year. I think I'm going to tell you something crazy. With the Jimmy injuries that are coming and the games missed, I think Jaime Jaquez is
Jimmy
going to
2.0.
yeah, I think him and Caleb are really
Yeah.
going to explode this year. And you're going to see a beautiful 1-2 punch from those guys. And the other thing you talked about, there's a lot of part-time ball handlers.
Mm-hmm.
So Caleb can do a little bit of it, and Josh can do a little bit of it, and Jaquez can do a little bit of it, and and then Kyle, and I think it's going to be spread around with a couple of
Yeah,
different
I agree.
people.
I agree.
You know what I mean? But when you have a Jaquez and a Caleb in there in that lineup, I just think these are guys that are going to be able to feed off of each other. Actually, it's not necessarily a competition to who's going to get more minutes. I think these guys are going to be a really terrific 1-2 punch on those nights that Jimmy Butler is out because he's resting or he's got some kind of, knick-knack, whatever it is. You and I know he's not going to play.
Oh, no. I play around 60 games or something like that, I would
60.
say.
Yeah. He ain't even going to play 70.
No.
So I just really, maybe I have too much high hopes for Jaquez, but from everything I've seen from this kid in the offseason and watching his UCLA stuff, that's what took me to the next level. When I watch his UCLA stuff, this is a complete player, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he was impressive, and they have a lot of that's gonna be an interesting thing is they have a lot of different lineups they could turn to, different types of lineups. They can play small, they can play big, they can play a bunch of shooters out there, they could play a bunch of guys who make twos. Like they can play double bigs with Bam and Thomas Bryant because Thomas Bryant can hit threes, or Bam and Orlando Robinson. I don't think it's going to happen much, but it's an option. So they just Eric Spoelstra has a lot of different types of lineups, combinations he could turn to. It's going to be really interesting to see how he handles the rest of the preseason. It kind of tests all that stuff out if Jimmy is available at some point this preseason. But we'll see in the regular season how he deals with it. But I'm interested. Like Jaime looked really good. He really did. And I was impressed. I was not surprised because I knew he was going to be a little bit ahead of most rookies. I knew he was skilled, and the footwork, we've talked about it all summer. He's really advanced in that area. We saw a movie put on Gordon Hayward, right? Gordon Hayward's a veteran, and he's a above average defender. And Jaime put him in the spin cycle. Like
telling you, man,
that was impressive. But the question I have with Jaime,
did you watch him in UCLA? He didn't.
No, I know, but still to do that against a veteran like Gordon Hayward in your first NBA game, man, like that was like eye-opening. But the question I have with Jaime is how does he? Because Jimmy and Caleb didn't play right that game, so Jaime and obviously it's preseason. At the end, Jaime had the ball in his hands pretty much the entire fourth quarter, running pick and rolls. That's not going to be his role most of the time, especially in lineups with Bam and Jimmy. He's going to have to hit threes. So to me, how much he plays, yes, he's good in other areas. It's still going to depend when everyone's available on if he could make threes. Because if he can't space the floor, you're not going to be able to play him with Bam and Jimmy.
Well, but remember, he can space the floor, but he can also put the ball on the floor to help create for others.
He can, for sure.
I think that's a weapon in itself because once you start proving that you're a scorer, then they've got to defend you. Once they got to defend you, then that's when you start becoming a creator also. Because then that's when you can put the ball on the floor and create for Jimmy or Caleb or anybody else. And again, this is why I liked it. I love this draft pick from the get-go because he's just a savvy dude. And I don't think you teach that kind of stuff. I think either you have it or you don't. And he has it, bro. I'm telling you, I really like this team. I only worry about the ball handling. I do not worry at all about losing the two guys you lost. You're going to replace those points. This team's going to be fun. Today's like nobody playing, right?
Nobody went to San Antonio. Not even me. 9 players stayed back, and most of the I think the only like rotation guys that are projected to make the rotation that are available tonight are Duncan and Haywood, I think. Everyone else is pretty much like
talk about. We don't talk about Highsmith.
That's what I was going to say. I was about to bring him up. He looked good. Yeah.
Going to come under the. That's another guy that I think is going to improve again, bro.
He's gonna have a big role this season. I think he's one of the guys that if you ask me, a guy that's gonna surprise this year or is gonna have a breakout season, Haywood would be a guy that I would bring up because his shooting has gotten better. He's obviously, we know, a good defender, a versatile defender who kind of fits in the Heat system. He's a good rebounder. He just seems to fit with what the Heat want to do around Bam and Jimmy. Smart, yeah. He's gonna have to play a lot of minutes.
I mature. I mean, he's got it all, dude. He's got it all, man. He just obviously you got to just turn into the player, but all the ingredients to become a good player, Highsmith has it by miles and miles. That's why I'm going to watch the game because I kind of like, I like Jamal Cain. I like the young guys.
See Cole Swider shoot threes.
Cole Swider, right?
Cole Swider, maybe lineups with Duncan and Cole because Duncan will be available. That would be fun to watch, right? Like that. There's always something to look for in these games.
Yeah, I'm the geek that watches Summer League, bro.
Yeah,
because these guys have made me now care about Summer League and care about the preseason to the sense of, hey, who you got? Who's new? That kind of stuff. You want to know, not because the games mean anything or anything like that, but it's about the talent. And there's some young guys there that I'm really looking forward to. All right, are we dealing with any kind of serious injuries at all on the team?
It doesn't seem like it. I guess the one that I question whether he'll be available for the start of the regular season is Jaime, only because he's strained his groin, and we know that takes 4 weeks, probably 4 to 6 weeks. I would say, like a strain growing, it takes a little bit to recover from that, and that just happened this week. And the regular season is less than 2 weeks away. He might not be ready for the start of the regular season. We haven't gotten a timetable yet, but just based on the history of strain growings, I'm assuming that it's very questionable whether he'll be ready for day one. So that's unfortunate. But Caleb looks like he's on his way back soon. He practiced pretty much fully yesterday, participating in the scrimmage and practice. Nikola Jovic, they got good news on him. When he went to the doctor for that knee injury he suffered in the preseason opener, just a contusion. So it seemed he's day-to-day, probably be back. And he said he expects to be back in a couple of days. We'll see, but doesn't seem serious. Jimmy's out because of a dental procedure tonight, so that shouldn't take too long to recover from. I'm trying to think, is there anything, but those are the main guys who are kind of dealing with stuff. I think Jay Rich has some foot discomfort, but he seemed fine. He participated in part of practice yesterday too. So it just seems like a precaution thing preseason. Why push it? So the good news is none of the injuries seem major. The only questionable one I would point to is Jaime, that he might not be ready for the regular season because of a strain growing. Those are tricky.
I don't know if did I end up asking him if he did his homework there, Sean, on Jermaine Stewart? No, right? Did you finally watch that video?
I forgot. I'm sorry. I have to watch it. That's my fault, Big O. By next week, I promise you, I will watch the video.
How'd you become a writer, bro? Did you do your homework in school?
Sometimes.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm too busy doing my daughter's homework these days when she comes home from school.
Oh, God. How old is she?
She's 5.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kindergarten. It's not, but still, it's like this is the first year she has homework every day. So
I got to tell you, once my daughter got to like 6th or 7th grade, that show, Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader?
Yeah.
There's a reason why they did that show. Because I found out that I'm not smarter than a 5th grader. Because once my daughter got to like 6th or 7th grade, hey, can you help me with this? No, I can't.
No, I can't. I'm sorry. You're out of luck.
No, I can't. What?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this. I'm like, holy crap, I forgot about all this. I don't know anything. And by the way, just for the record, school was a hell of a lot harder for my daughter than it was for me, dude.
Yeah, it gets harder.
I gotta say, I coasted through school. I mean, coasted, okay? My senior year, I had 3 requirements. No, 2. I had 4 electives my senior year.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Okay? 2, you had English, and I think it
math. Some math.
No. Wait a minute. I had 2.5. I'm glad you reminded me. I had 2.5. You know why? I was terrible at math. Once they added the X's and the Y's and all that shit, I'm out. I am the best at regular math, like plus, minus, division, subtraction.
Stuff you actually use in real life.
Percentage, the shit that you use. I can do that in my head like faster than my wife, and she's a math teacher, okay?
Mhm.
But so I remember my senior year, it was English and I want to say history, and
Okay.
then I had to take half a year of pre-algebra.
Wow.
That's what it was, because I was forced to take pre-algebra. The other half of the year, I took business math, which is baby,
Yeah. That's the real stuff right there.
kick that ass, baby, business math, and so that's it. The rest were
And no science. No, it wasn't a science.
no. Science was like I think it was
Year
only
before.
history or science. I forgot which one it
Okay.
was, but it was back then in the early '80s.
Yeah.
Life was a little different, and we only had a couple of requirements our senior year. Okay. And
Wow.
math was not one of them, which was so awesome. I only had it for half a year. After that, business math is not even considered math for me. I was just like, I could do that with, my eyes closed. I didn't even need to see the numbers. But
So you enjoyed your senior year. You had a good senior year.
yeah. So I don't know, bro. Once your daughter gets a little
I
older,
know.
boy, she's going to come to you with that homework. You're going to go, boy, I can't help you. I'm sorry.
I could write a Heat story for you if you want, but that's about it. You're interested in Cole Swider?
That's it. So I tell my daughter, she looks at me like, what do you do? Now she's older and she's figured it out, but she's like, 8 or 10 or 14 or 16. Yeah. Well, I'm watching sports. Okay. It's my job. What? It's like, she didn't get it. You know what I mean? It's like, Dad's a joke. Like, she probably goes to school like, my dad's a fireman. My dad's a lawyer. My dad's a doctor. Yeah. My dad's some idiot that watches sports.
Watches sports for a living. Yeah.
That's it. I don't know. I just see him talk on a mic or something in his room. I think he's talking to himself or something, teacher. I have no idea. All these kids have great fathers. My dad's some loser that just watches games.
Come on. Give ourselves more credit than that.
No,
we're providing an outlet for people who are stressed.
A 12-year-old does not even think that. A 12-year-old never thinks about that, bro.
My daughter has no interest in sports. All she asks is every time there's a game on, doesn't matter what game is on, baseball, hockey, who's winning? Like she cares, like she knows, and I'll tell her, and then she'll just walk away. She doesn't know what. If I say the Panthers are winning by a goal, she has no idea what that means.
That's the sport that my daughter loves. Hockey,
yeah,
she loves it. Now she's watching the other ones. Now that she's gotten older, she's starting to watch the other ones. But hockey is the one that she really enjoys. All right, what do you got going on in the Herald, my man, so folks can check you out?
Yeah, so I wrote a story this morning that posted on the Herald website about Udonis Haslem. Udonis Haslem is going to be on the TNT broadcast tonight in studio in Atlanta. So that'll be kind of cool to kind of see what he has to say about It's going to be kind of weird too, because he's been, last 20 years on the roster, such an important voice for the team.
An icon.
So to see him kind of talking from a quote unquote neutral position of a studio analyst and talking about the Heat's roster and different things like that, I'm interested to see how he kind of handles that. But it's cool. I spoke with him and he said he's excited about it. He did some work for CBS Sports HQ. He's doing some stuff for TNT. He wants to keep doing it. He has a few offers that he's thinking about. So I think he's going to be around the team a lot this season. He still wants to be around the team a lot, but he told me, he's like, look, Dwayne was still a TNT broadcaster when he was with still with the, part of the Jazz ownership. Who else? Grant Hill works on NBA TV. He's part of the ownership group with the Hawks, and he's obviously Team USA basketball too.
Yeah, they'll slow walk you, bro. They'll make sure they don't put you in positions.
Exactly. So even if he eventually does become part of the Heat organization again, he still wants to do broadcasting. He has an interest in it. So I think he'll be good at it. He's very charismatic, so that'll be interesting to see tonight.
I'd love to see him on a Heat broadcast. There you go. That would be a lot of fun.
I asked him that. He said he's not sure because when he deals with the Heat, when he's in the Kaseya Center, he says he wants to be around the players. He wants to move the needle. So he's like, I don't know if I want to be a part of a broadcast with the Heat because when I'm dealing with Heat stuff, I want to be actually helping the team.
Right.
So,
right. Okay. All right. Good stuff. All right. Follow him on Twitter and check it out at the Miami Herald. Anthony_Chiang. Anthony, as always, thank you, my brother. Have a great weekend. We'll catch up next week.
Thanks, Big O. Have a good weekend.
You got it. There you go. 1 hour down, one more to go. Guess who starts it off? Safid Dean will start it off next right here on the Big O Radio Show.
The Baptist Health of South Florida Miami Heat Report with Anthony Chiang is brought to you by Baptist Health of South Florida. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at BaptistHealth.net. With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayum is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayum, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayum can help.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Let's get the latest from the Aqua and Orange with our Baptist Health of South Florida Miami Dolphins report with USA Today insider Safid Dean. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at BaptistHealth.net. Here's Safid Dean.
There he is, locked and loaded and ready to go. How you feeling, Safid? You feeling good?
Yeah, Big O, doing all right, man. It is hot as hell today. I don't know how you outside right now, but more power to you.
Hey, man, it is what it is. We're under roof. We got a couple fans on. We're good, bro. It's
all right.
Listen, man. There's some people out there that they're putting tars on roofs.
Yes, they are.
They're cutting grass.
Yes, they are.
They're working on in a marina somewhere in the sun. They're
Tyreek don't go over there.
Yeah, there are police officers risking their lives every single day.
Yes, they are.
I'm getting paid to talk sports, even if I have to sweat a little bit. Life is good, bro.
Life couldn't be any worse, right?
It's really good. So I'm going to run a conversation I had with somebody, well, actually a couple people in the building, but one specific person in the Dolphins building. And so we were talking about Liam Eichenberg, and they're actually very impressed with Liam Eichenberg. They thought he did a terrific job overall because he had them in all the right positions. He didn't make all the blocks. Yes, they know that, and he screwed up. But it was his first time ever playing center, and it was against the Buffalo freaking Bills. And so they tell me in the building, and, because I've told them a couple times about, I don't believe in Liam. And, last year when they thought he was turning the corner and got injured, they told me I didn't know what I was talking about. And so now I recently had a conversation with a couple people, but one person that told me, so let me ask you something. I see all of you all bragging about Austin Jackson now. Okay. And Isaiah Wynn's doing a solid job, and Kendall Lamb developed. And last year we got by with the guys we had. And so when do we start getting the benefit of the doubt? When we tell you we like these guys. And then, like one other guy told me, hey, man, they didn't move on to Cotton or Olave, right? We're still there with Eichenberg. So we believe in them in the building. And when he goes to when that line was used at me, when do we get the benefit of the doubt? I just like I had no. You're right, dude. You're 1,000% right. As much as we might be all unsatisfied watching Eichenberg play and make whatever mistakes, they keep telling us something different, and they keep standing by these guys. And Kendall Lamb paid off for them, and Isaiah Wynn's paid off for them, and now Austin Jackson's paid off for them. And they had an injury-riddled season with Eichenberg last year. They've only had a few months with him at center. Are we being unfair? No matter how bad Eichenberg has played, are we not giving the people in the building, the coaching staff, are we not finally giving them the benefit of the doubt? What are we doing here on our end?
Yeah, I don't know if unfair is the right word. I would definitely feel impatient is probably a better word.
Great word.
We all, everybody wants instant gratification in this world. From fast food to, whatever you have on your app that gives you that dopamine that you like. We like to see these players play well, and we want them to play well immediately, right? That's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. We're talking about 20, 21, 22-year-old kids who their life is completely changed. It's all about football now. They're professional athletes. We see them on every Sunday, right? And we watch the film, and after we watch the film, we undress them for what they did right and what they did wrong. Some people are getting more praise, and some people are getting less of it. I would agree with Liam Eichenberg's, that report you got on him, pretty much that he is pretty raw at the center position. And they've asked him to do something he's never done before, right? Or maybe hasn't done as much in his past. We know Liam Eichenberg was a really, solid tackle in college. Did not allow a sack, I believe, during his years at Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. It's why the Dolphins moved up in the draft to get him, because you thought he was going to be your right tackle, right? Then he moved into guard. Then they moved him inside to center. And like you mentioned, there was an injury-riddled season there last year where him and Austin Jackson were hurt. So that's two of your draft picks at O-line who were injured and can't be on the field to not only fend for themselves, but to improve as players, right?
Right.
Liam Eichenberg's got a chance to start, on Sunday against the Panthers. Great opponent to start. If you can start him against the Bills, you want to start him against the Panthers, right? Panthers are one of the worst teams in the NFL right now. Connor Williams is dealing with a groin injury. And who's on the docket next week? The Philadelphia Eagles, who won the NFC last year.
Yeah, he doesn't have to block Brian Burns. So he's actually not blocking the badass.
Yeah. Whoever he's got, Derek Brown. They got some D tackles over there. I got to look at the injury report and see, make sure who's actually going to be suiting up for them.
Name Brian Burns.
All right, look, and Derek Brown had a knee and ankle injury, didn't practice on Thursday, so he's not going to be 100% when they play on Sunday if he does play. So, look, this is a very the Dolphins have asked two players to play center, and they've never played center much before, in Connor Williams and Liam Eichenberg. All right. I don't know how much credit the Dolphins front office want to have or want to get, because, there were some centers out there that they could have had the past couple of years. Sure. And also we're so used to the center position we're so used to having a Pouncey at center, right? And everything being all right in the world, and that guy going to the Pro Bowl and stuff like that. So a lot of patience needed overall. And I think, for the Dolphins to really get the benefit of the doubt, they need to win a little bit more. They need to win a playoff game. That's when I would give them a little bit more benefit of the doubt overall on all the decisions that they made.
Wait. That's not. No, you're taking it to another place.
Okay.
The benefit of the doubt that he was talking about
is that they pick the players and
that they're developing the line. He goes, dude, we're the number one running team in the NFL along with passing.
Yeah.
Quarterback's getting protected. When do we get the benefit of the doubt? And he's right. He's right.
I would agree with that.
When it comes to the offensive line issue, forget about the winning. I'm with you on the winning stuff for the team overall. But when it comes to the offensive, brother, we're seeing what's going on the offensive line has never gone on in Dolphin football. You have to go back to the 70s to have a line that could run and pass. That never has happened in Dolphin history. You got to go 50 years back, bro.
Let's think about how let's think about how hurt we've been by this offensive line since Larry Tunzel left, right? Like, it's just been development after development. We got a tanking team. We got a team trying to do their best to hold their own. We had 3 offensive coordinators who had no idea what they were doing, right? You know, and now you have an offensive genius in Mike McDaniel and somebody who knows how to put offensive linemen in great positions to be successful. You look at Frank Smith, you look at the O-line coach, you look at them keeping, you know, Coach Lem as an assistant coach because he's worked with these guys before. And you look at the improvement all across the board. I mean, Robert Hunt is your best player right now. He's a little hurt, a little gimpy. I don't know if he plays on Sunday. That's another conversation. But you look at what Austin Jackson did, and he completely, you know, remade his body to be able to play as well as he's playing right now. And we give him a lot of credit now that he deserves, but we weren't giving it to him last couple of years. And he's probably one of the youngest players on the team.
Right.
So, you know, to go back to your conversation, I think we've just been impatient more than unfair. And maybe the impatience has led to some unfairness. Sure. I'd probably say that too, but I think impatience is probably a better word.
Yeah, I think impatience is the perfect word. That's why you're a writer, dude. Right there. That was it. Now, it looks like Connor is out, right? I mean, you know, he didn't practice Wednesday and Thursday, so we are going to see Liam Eichenberg, right? Is that what your gut tells you?
Yeah, that's a good gut feeling. That's a good hunch. And I would be worried about Robert Hunt. Robert Hunt practiced on Wednesday, but he came up Thursday on the injury report as limited with a knee injury. So that's 2 of your starting linemen that you don't want out, 2 of your most important linemen that you want in outside of Armstead, right? And you already don't have Armstead for the next couple of weeks. So if there's any game for the Dolphins to play some backup O-linemen and kind of see what you have there and let those guys get some chemistry with Tua playing, you know, those second string guys did pretty decent for themselves in training camp. You know, there wasn't a lot of pushback and things like that. Maybe it wasn't as productive, but it's an opportunity to get some work for these guys. The Dolphins are going to need all the depth that they need, to make it as deep as they want to make it in the playoffs this year. And, you know, this is a good opportunity for them against the Panthers.
So, you know, I've been championing the last couple of days.
Okay.
That after Claypool signed, don't whip it out now. Don't do a Blazing Saddles.
We spoke about this.
Excuse me while I whip this out. No, don't do it now, bro. Wait till next week. What's your gut tell you? Is McDaniel gonna do a Blazing Saddles this week or next week?
We spoke about this on Tuesday, Big O. I'm in favor of playing him. I'm in favor of playing him. The kid needs reps. He needs to see what happens on the field. When you're being told something or taught something in a classroom or something like that, or on the practice field, you're like, all right, cool. This is working in practice. This is cool in theory, but I got to see it work against the other guys on the team on the field that are not expecting it.
Opinion. I want your gut. Do you think he's going to play? Okay, I know what you're.
Yeah, he has to play. He has to play. He needs the reps. This is the game for everybody to get reps.
So you think he's going to play?
Yeah, the Panthers game is the game for everybody to get reps. All right. I think this is a game where Tyreek doesn't go crazy for like 200 yards like he has been, and they kind of slow him down a little bit. You get Tyreek going maybe the first half, have him line up for some things, but hold off Tyreek, call off the dogs. Maybe Waddle goes off a little bit in this game. You know, maybe you play, you know, Ahmed and Brooks a little bit more, and then you play Mostert. This is a get to next week game for me. This is a get reps for guys that need it and get to next week healthy, because the way this injury report is looking right now, it's not ideal, man. Like, if we had to go into this game playing the Eagles, would you feel great about Connor Williams not practicing?
No.
Would you feel great about Robert Hunt, you know, coming up with a knee injury? Would you feel, you know, great about Alec Ingold needing a boot to walk around? No. You know, we already know, you know, Jalen Phillips is on his way back from the oblique. Jeff Wilson is limited, even though they opened up the window for him. And Barry also got a knee injury, and he's kind of monitoring right now. So, you know, this is like Cedric Wilson did really well in the game against the Giants, had some opportunities to catch the ball. If they can turn him into a possession guy, you know, a 3rd and 6 or you know, to turn 2nd and 8 into 3rd and 2 kind of guy, sign me up. Great call. The guy catches more than half the passes that are thrown his way, which is a really great conversion rate. You know, this is for opportunities like, you know, David Long to show you something, for Christian Wilkins to get in the backfield as much as he did last week compared to the first month of the season, right? And I know Bryce Young maybe not be like the running quarterback like Daniel Jones is, But there was some times defensively, they still have to figure everything out defensively, Big O. Like Tyrod Taylor came in the game in the fourth quarter and they got chewed up the field. You know, when I was watching the game again, the Dolphins, you know, the game was already in hand, but the defense was getting, you know, Tyrod Taylor was doing whatever he wanted in that fourth quarter to close the game. So they got to prepare for a running quarterback. You know, Van Ginkel is a great guy. We spoke about how well he's played. He's a react guy. I don't think he's like a read and react guy. I think he's just a react guy because there was definitely some fake handoffs that Daniel Jones kind of, you know, gave away or kept, excuse me, and Van Ginkel's already tackling the running back. So, you know, this is a get right opportunity for the defense to figure out some more kinks before the Eagles game. It's an opportunity for some players that don't get a lot of action to get some action. And I would, you know, use Tyreek very sparingly probably in this one.
What do you think happens in the running game? Does Ahmed and Wilson get carries or only one of them or what? What do you think happens here?
Yeah, I'm not sure how ready Wilson is or maybe, you know, limited a little bit in practice as he's coming back. You know, even though he's been out for 4 weeks or so, or even more than that, probably since training camp. You know, maybe you give him some reps, if any. I would maybe, you know, another week wouldn't hurt. I think Ahmed gets some work this week for sure. He's healthy, ready to go. And I would imagine Chris Brooks gets some work as well. And maybe Mostert plays, you know, just as sparingly as Tyreek. But, you know, if these guys go up early, you know, 2 touchdowns early, I can definitely see the Dolphins kind of really just trying to coast as much as they can and get out the game. You know, the Panthers aren't doing so well this season. And, man, Big O, it's like 90-something degrees outside. So I'm expecting to be as hot as it is on Sunday as well.
Yeah, no, it's definitely obviously you want to use the heat to your favor, brother. I mean, in a game like this, it's a 1 o'clock game. You definitely want to try to you know, pound the hell out of the ball and tire them out a little bit. But you know, like one of the things you did mention, the defense definitely. This is one of those games just like last week where you kind of get to fine tune yourself and hopefully prepare yourself to step it up. Against the Eagles. What are you hearing about Jalen Ramsey?
Wow. So I was also among the group of people that saw Jalen Ramsey make that run towards the locker room after the game last week. And I know Marcel and Omar has also said some things about it too. He looks good. It looks good. Looks ahead of schedule. Mike McDaniel said he's obviously on the positive side of the return. But I would also very, very be cautious with it. Jalen Ramsey's like one of those fast healers, man. I've been covering him since Florida State, you know, since he was there. And, you know, nobody wants to be on the field more than that guy. I'll tell you that much. He's been doing everything that he possibly can to get back to 100%. I also have to make some phone calls on that one, too, and see how really far along he is. So I can't give you a really good answer right now. But I would say that any talk of him coming back maybe in November, I would probably push the brakes on that a little bit. Look at Brandon Jones right now. Look at how much he's taken to a return from injury. You know, look at Nick Needham, you know, guys like that who have had really, really serious injuries, right? I mean, this is a meniscus, but it's a very serious injury when you're having not a snip, but like a full repair on it. You know what I mean? The snip is different. You have a little cartilage and they take it off. That's 4 weeks. You're back within 6 weeks. This is a very full corrective surgery for the knee, right? And Ramsey plays with a lot of twitch, man. He's one of the most athletic guys I've ever covered. Maybe just as much as Deion, as athletic as he is. You know, we're talking about a long jumper. We're talking about a long strider. We're talking about somebody who's very physical with his hands. He likes to tackle. He's not shy of contact. And that's pretty much what happened when he got hurt. Him and Tyreek just kind of got tied up. He looks good, but there's difference between looking good, making a jog, and getting ready for an NFL game. So I would caution on the side of Jalen Ramsey right now, just because everybody's so optimistic. It's okay to be optimistic, but I don't want to rush that guy back, man. I need Jalen Ramsey January and February more so than I need him for December. But if and when Jalen Ramsey does come back this season, the defense will be in a lot better position.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the crazy prediction of early November, in the first 2 weeks of early November. Not even late.
You know,
late. But I do think that you could be right, only because their entire track record has been, let's be very cautious about all players and injuries. So I could see them holding him out till December and saying, you're great, but we're going to wait. We're winning. And as long as they're winning, they will have that luxury to keep putting it off a little bit more to make sure he's 100%. But yeah, everything I'm hearing, he's
yeah. I mean, look at the schedule. You got, Panthers, Eagles, Patriots, Chiefs. You're not going to have Armstead. You're not going to have Achane. You're not going to have Ramsey. Okay, you've been all right without them the first month of the season or so. I mean, after that, Raiders, Jets, Commanders, Titans, Jets. Maybe you bring them back for the Cowboys game, maybe for the Ravens game, and we're talking about, last 2 weeks of the year, right? Like, there's no real reason to rush him back opponent-wise.
Dak Prescott is no threat to anything, bro.
Yeah, there's no reason to rush him back at all. Make sure he's 1,000%. Have him practice for like 3 weeks, and then bring him back if he's really ready and itching to go. But I would not rush that, man. You're paying him some money. I know you traded a 3rd-round pick for him, but it's not just him being healthy for the rest of the year. You're not really, you really want him to be ready for week 1 next year too.
Yeah, no, it makes all the sense in the world. There's no doubt about that. But he is definitely ahead of schedule. All right, are you laying the 13.5 if you were a betting man?
Yeah, I'd probably lay that down. Yeah, I'd probably lay that down. I mean, look, the Panthers have scored, 24, 13, 27. 27 points the most they scored this year. Dolphins held the Giants to 13, held Denver to 20. The Giants scored 16 on the Dolphins, 20. The Broncos scored 20. So only unless Bryce Young comes and absolutely lights it up, I don't see that happening either. I think this is a get-right game for everybody. Hopefully Jalen Phillips can play a little bit. We'll see. Because it would be nice to have him back, with a game under his belt before the Eagles game. But we're all looking at next week, man. This was like when they played the Broncos and the Bills game was next week. We're all kind of looking a little bit to next week, but I think they're going to take care of business on Sunday.
If there's no Ingold, how do they adjust to that?
Chris Brooks was blocking really well. Durham Smythe is, going to make some blocks. I'm sure Julian Hill probably is going to play some tight end too. Do you take out a little bit of the package maybe because you don't have that other blocker? Maybe Tua plays a little bit more 3 wide, 4 wide, things like that. I think they can get by with it.
All right, sir. We will talk to you post game. Make sure you check out his work there at USA Today and follow him on Twitter at Safid Dean. Safid, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you immensely.
Have a good one, Big O. Stay hydrated out there.
You got it. Always. Be good. Safid_Dean. And when we talk about Baptist Health, baby, you don't need to be a professional athlete to go where the pros go. The doctors at Baptist Health Orthopedic Care can see you now. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho to request an appointment and get yourself back in the game. If you have an injury that's keeping you from doing what you love, you like that pickleball, that tennis, bowling, whatever it is you do, pick up basketball, softball, take charge of your health and get back in the game with the help of the all-pro staff at Baptist Health Orthopedic Center.
The Baptist Health of South Florida Miami Dolphins report with insider Safid Dean is brought to you by Baptist Health of South Florida. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at baptisthealth.net.
Right. We're out here at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines, 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. We got some great lease features. Make sure you take advantage. 3.9% financing on 36 months. The 24 Integra is $329 a month. We have some 23 still. The TLX, $399. The MDX 2024, $529 a month, folks. 3.9% financing for 36 months. Get on down here, check it out. We've got the TLX Type S, the 2023 model, $649 a month. That car is absolutely beastly, man. You got to check it out. Come out here, check out the full line of certified pre-owned vehicles. And if you own or lease an Acura, well, Mike Chan, Jordan Ferber at that service center will take care of you as always right here at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 and Pines' finest dealership in the business. It is Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. All right. Nikolai Roll, you made a great point. Oh, trust the process. He's still young as well. Talking about Eichenberg. Well, they made the point. I'm just passing along. I'm just, it was hard to argue with it, man. Big O, does Denver have an inside linebacker we could trade for? Willie, good morning. Just jogged and showered, ready for work and the show. Thank you, Willie. Out in Colombia. Big O, I'm so tired of Jada Pinkett talking about Tupac. Will Smith doesn't deserve this, man. God, listen, I've had enough of both of them, to be quite honest. Certainly, Jada Pinkett is a person that just doesn't seem like she could be trustworthy at all in any way, shape, or form. But Will Smith also is kind of weird too, man. So she definitely has something with Tupac. PNS Slots says, is there a player Miami can bring in to upgrade this defense? I think it's more about the players learning the scheme, and it's about the front seven doing their job that they're not doing. Drago says, do you think Claypool is the answer to the counter? I think Claypool adds a dimension that they don't have in a big receiver with a huge catch radius. That's what I think. Now let's see how they use him. Giovanni is in. He says, Neil God. Let's see. Omar Lopez, Jermaine in. And he's right about Kendrick Nunn falling off the face of the earth after leaving Miami. There's a report that says Liam Eichenberg could start at center. Yeah, he's probably starting at center this week. Gordon Shumway says, oh, you're right. We need to give the coaches the benefit of the doubt with Liam. I think Ed Newman, he took a long time to develop. He turned out to be pretty good. Yeah, he was great. You know what? I forgot completely. Did Ed Newman not start from the get-go? It took him a while? I don't even remember that. That's so long ago, and I was a child. I don't even remember that right now. Pat in Nashville says, I got switched to center as a senior in high school. My first 2 snaps in our scrimmage, I got Aaron Donald. Big difference from guard or tackle to center. Yeah, man. Robert says, Cowboys will be happy to take a chance on Tua's concussion problem. Go ahead. Pat in Nashville says, that being said, Eichenberg has been terrible at every position he has played. Nancy Pelosi even agrees with me. And she probably made money off the exchange, too, because she makes money off every trade. Dirty. Let's see. True Fin Fan says, Tua will be on the sidelines for the start of the fourth quarter. Let's get that win. Go for the Eagles. Go get the Eagles. Ramsey is returning around Thanksgiving, Eric thinks. Drago says, cold front coming in on Sunday morning, 10 a.m. What's a cold front here? 70 degrees? Ramsey will be back for the last 5 games of the year. PDC says, if we beat the Eagles, things will be looking up. It'll be a really nice start. No doubt. Kind of weird in a nice way of calling Smith a cuck. I don't know what that means. Oh, well. Unless you meant another word, then I'm not sure. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button, folks, please. Smash the like button. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. It is absolutely loaded. Last night, Wild defeated the Panthers 2-0. Chiefs defeated the Broncos 19-8. Phillies eliminated the Braves 3-1 in the series, and they won 3-1. ALCS starts on Sunday at 8:15 between the Rangers and the Astros. I am picking the Astros. And then Monday starts the NLCS, D-backs and Phillies. I'll go with Phillies. Tonight, the Heat on TNT taking on the Spurs on the road, 7:30 at Frostbank Arena. Saturday at 7:30, UM visits UNC. We will have our post-game show when that game ends. The second that game ends, come to our platform. We will have our post-game show ready to go. And Sunday at 11 a.m., we start with our pregame show, getting you ready for the Panthers and the Miami Dolphins. So that is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. Please call Alan Blanco and the great people there at 3A Graphics. If you're looking for custom printing and embroidery, whether it's your club, whether it's your fantasy team, whether it's your business, maybe you need uniforms, whatever it is, 786-618-1443. Reach out to Alan Blanco and the great people at 3A Graphics. What else? We got a Hurricanes postgame show. Cameron Wolf, Safid Dean, and David Feronis will be joining us on our postgame show. That Deion video I sent you, is that from that show from Amazon? Are we going to get tagged? Well, let's do it. What the hell? Deion Sanders, because it has some music underneath. I don't know if you heard it, if you took the time to listen to it. For Deion Sanders, I'm not sure if every coach does this. What I am sure is most coaches are not Deion Sanders. Most coaches, I don't believe, are as brutally honest as Deion Sanders is about his situation or his team. And this is a man, and he says it himself, talking to young men. This is a man giving a wake-up call to a bunch of young men who might be living the high life right now. Not with a Miller. I'm not talking about drugs. I'm talking about in the groove that Colorado's in right now, that they are on top of the world, not necessarily record-wise or rankings, but on top of the world, that they're one of the hottest, teams in the country, maybe the hottest team in the country, not on the field, but I mean, hottest, like people want to know about it, watch them, all that, and people want to support them and all that kind of stuff. So they're living that high life right now, and they're all getting, Fords for, leased while they're there. And all. Did you see that shit that they gave every player a car? Yeah, the local Ford dealership, or I don't know, maybe it was Lincoln, or maybe it was another Chevy, or maybe it was Acura. I don't know. But they cut a deal with the local dealership. I want to say it was Dodge. Now I want to say it was Dodge, and they all gave them a pickup truck, and it's all leased out to each of them while they're there. Once they leave, they have to turn it in. And so you're living the high life. Things are good in Deion land. So he wanted to give them a wake-up call, because it's a wake-up call that every coach should give their players, because reality is coming, and it ain't the NFL. Play that video. Let's hear from Deion Sanders. I want you to listen to him talking to the young men that he coaches on his football team. Shoot.
You're changing this week, but we're going to change as well for good.
I mean, that's a brutally honest conversation that you need to have with all of these kids, because, the gravy train ends, man. And most of them will never see a pro football field. Most of them will never play in the NFL. Most of them will never make millions playing football. If they're going to make millions, they're going to have to figure it out another way. And that is the kind of conversation that a father has to have with his son, but a coach definitely has to have with his players. That's where constantly I see where Deion is just different than other coaches. He's willing to have a little bit of old school in him, because I think you need to still have some old school. I know that, we have a lot of young people that can't handle the old school ways, But I like that he still has those old school ways in him, and you've got to treat these young men, with honesty, and because eventually it ends, and you're not Johnny Manziel where you were born with a silver spoon, and daddy's gonna pay for your crash car, as U2 would sing. Yeah, it's nice when you're born with a silver spoon. It's really nice that you can screw up and do everything and you have a fallback plan. But most of these kids have no fallback plan. Their fallback plan is investing in you, is what he was talking about. Because that's your fallback plan. You. So great conversation. We're gonna get tagged, right? Because that stupid music or whatever. I know that YouTube's gonna tag us. It's just gonna happen. It is what it is. What would the Hurricanes' record be with Deion as head coach? Would Alabama be undefeated if Deion was their coach? I don't know. Right now, I'll tell you this: Deion Sanders looks like a better coach than Mario Cristobal. It's early, but he's been more impressive than Mario. There's no doubt about that.
Just
yes.
Were you thinking Utah?
What are we talking? I don't even know what I'm talking
Utah
about.
has every football player gets a Dodge.
Oh, it was Utah that got that? Okay, my bad.
A Ram. Yeah.
That was cool. See, that was cool. I saw that the other day. It was Utah. Okay.
Utah.
It was not Colorado. Okay. Utah. Is that cool or what, man? They all got it. It was a Dodge? Yeah, so I got it right. I got the car right finally at the end.
You did name, I believe, every car.
Yeah.
So at some point you got it right.
Yeah. But at the end I did say, yeah, I think it was Dodge actually. I forgot. I didn't get the school right, but it was Dodge. Yeah, I thought that was really cool that they get the kids get a car while they're there. That's cool. Deion reminds me of a head coach who can beat you with his, then take your team and beat you with his. Yeah, it's the old Bum Phillips line about Don Shula. He can beat his'n with your's'n and your's'n with his'n. So, my kid would go to Colorado just by watching that video of Deion. Exactly. Deion will be a head coach in the NFL in less than. No, I don't think so, Eric. He's not a NFL guy, bro. I really believe that Deion Sanders wants to coach young men. I think he wants to get them now to mold them to be better when they get older. I really believe that. I think it's important to Deion Sanders to be a mentor to these kids. I don't think he wants to be a babysitter for spoiled rich brats in the NFL. Yeah, I completely disagree with you there. I don't think he has any desire to be a pro coach. I think he has all the desire to be a great college football coach. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Reality check by Deion, says PDC. More adults need to have this conversation with today's youth. Not everyone can sit at home and be a millionaire influencer. Well, like I said, parents have to have this conversation, but I'm glad that he's doing it because I think it's really important because you have a lot of parents that are going to mislead their kids. Oh, did Manziel didn't come from money. It was a made-up story. Oh, really? Oh, I thought
in the documentary they go into it. His grandfather was an oil man, but by the time there's a whole backstory to it. It wasn't. Oh, it was a backstory because his grandfather or his grandfather's grandfather, it was a longer lineage than what he was. The family, I guess, had money at some point, but it wasn't where he was just loaded rich.
My bad.
But he used it as part of his. Well, no, but they allowed it to go for so long because it went with what he was doing. So it was allowing him to be that party guy.
I didn't watch
it in the documentary.
See, I didn't watch the doc. I have like zero interest in Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, I just watched it one day when I was putting stuff
You're
together.
bored?
So yeah.
You're bored, yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I don't like Johnny Manziel.
I watched that and the Gators documentary. That was pretty good.
I hate people that are given everything and then they just want to screw it all up and just be freaking clowns.
And also on the Utah thing, they've got a sponsor. They wrap the vehicle, the Win 360.
Okay.
Help sponsor the deal. And then listen to this, the collective, it's called the Crimson. Oh, now I lost it. The Crimson Collective is, I guess, kind of like whatever the Canes Collective, like, you know how they have that. They backed by donors paying the leases of each of the truck, which has an MSRP of
$50,000, bro.
$43,970.
Yeah.
On a 6-month contract, and is also covering the insurance.
Yeah.
So
those kids can't pay that stuff.
No. And then once the base of the deal is, well, you're on scholarship there, and then once they take it back, either they're going to flip it to somebody else that becomes a board on the program, or they can resell them.
Okay.
So
still really cool. Still really cool. Utah's a good program, man. Utah's a really good program. They've been winning for a while. Ask Mario Cristobal. He can't beat them.
They become that great, right?
Yeah.
They've proven that they're not just a good team anymore.
Last year here in the Pac-12, they kicked their ass twice. In the bowl game, they kicked their ass. Utah's good. You know, just to touch base on Mario Cristobal, and I'm a Mario Cristobal guy, but again, I don't bullshit, bro. I'm just because I'm a Mario Cristobal guy, I'll tell you if I'm wrong about Mario Cristobal. I'm not wrong about him yet. But I'll tell you this, for Mario Cristobal, I don't know if he's realized this. I don't think anybody's going to tell him this in the school, but Mario Cristobal now is on double secret probation. Every fan in the world now doesn't trust Mario Cristobal anymore as a game day coach. Oh, and by the way, why would you? So he has occasional successes, but he has occasional failures too. Like I just mentioned, that was a stain, bro. When he left Utah, Oregon that last year, and Utah bitch slapped his ass twice. That was not a good look on the way out. So, and now that this whole thing that you never take victory formation and you've lost this stupid game that you just lost before the same way, so that means you were dumb enough to commit the same mistake twice. And then you lost to Middle Tennessee and that entire season last year. Mario Cristobal may be known as a recruiter, but he now has to earn the respect and the trust of most of the Canes nation when it comes to coaching. Maybe nobody will tell him that in the school. I don't know if he knows that, but that's the reality now. The reality is, because I'm getting it from a bunch of my friends, dude. They're not in the business. They don't work in this business. They don't cover the team. And I must have heard from like 25 of my friends over the last week about Mario Cristobal and how they do not trust him. Like, wow. Like they only hear like, wow, so this guy is just a recruiter? That's what I'm getting. So Mario Cristobal, he better have a hell of a performance this weekend, because I just realized over the last week, he has created a shitstorm for himself. And the only way out is by coaching like you've never coached before. Now it doesn't matter. They don't want to hear about a 4 or 5 star because now they think you can't even coach them anyway. That's the reality, bro. A ton of fans jumped off the Mario Cristobal bandwagon. And I heard from a bunch of them. And that tells me that a lot of you have dumped Mario Cristobal as an X's and O's guy. You're just looking at him as a recruiter now. That's effed up. And that's his fault. Nobody else's. Nobody else's. He's got to climb out of a real huge hole. Yes, sir.
Can I bring up something that's kind of getting underswept because of this stupid call?
Okay.
It was another Canes bye week, and they came out flat against Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Yes, you shouldn't have been in the position you should have taken the knee, but you shouldn't have been in a position because you should have taken out Georgia Tech.
Should have won by 30.
You come out of, again, it's been the Canes' MO for a while now.
Yep.
After a bye week,
all the
they come out flat.
Always.
And that continued. But that hasn't been talked about because of the bonehead move.
Yeah. I talked about it in the postgame show.
Oh.
I mentioned it in the
No, I get that. But I mean,
but it was in passing.
It's not being harped on. It's everything. The only thing that's being harped on is he didn't take a knee. He didn't take a knee.
Well, because
why were we in the position to have to take a knee? Because they didn't play up to their standards.
Right.
Because they're coming out of a bye week.
Right. Yeah. And that's where his coaching has to be questioned. Yep. Unfortunately, Mario's a great dude, a hard worker. He means well. He is going to do anything and everything in his power to lift the University of Miami football team to whatever heights he can take it. He's going to do anything and everything. We all know that. But unfortunately, on game day, you leave a lot to be desired. And I have to say this. After watching him over the years, he's not there yet. That's all it is. Because at times I saw it at Oregon, too, a very conservative offense. And I saw Herbert run a lot and everything. So, and like I said, losing to Utah that last year there, I mentioned it when he got hired that, wow, that was a bad look for him, that you got dogged by Utah twice. That was really, really bad by him, overall. So he's really put himself in a horrible position. Let's see. People are going to be sick and tired of Colorado winning national titles every year as long as Deion is there. Well, I don't know about winning every year. First, he's got to win one, but let's see. Let's see if he can get there. But it'll be fun. It'll be fun. That's for damn sure. Nyborg says, Big O, Dolphin coaches start getting the benefit of the doubt when they start beating teams like the Eagles, Chiefs, Bills, and Niners. That's fair. That's fair. But they do deserve the benefit of the doubt when it comes to the offensive line. He was right about that. He was 1,000% right. Like, when do we get a benefit of the doubt for the offensive line? And they're right about that. They've done a good job with it. They've developed players, even the players we thought they weren't going to develop, and they're doing it. We need Ben Jones, true free agent center. Young men today need leaders like Deion that are actually working at making a positive impact on young men and teach them to be men and gentlemen and men of faith. Hats off to Deion. Let's see. We should target Smythe more this game. We'll see. We'll see. He brought it on himself. Yes, he did, Chad. Yes, he did. True Fin Fan says, if Mario Cristobal's guy, if I'm a Mario Cristobal guy, however, looking at last year and last game makes me wonder, is it what it is? He's going to bring talent here for sure now. What's he going to do with it is the question. Yes, exactly, True Fin Fan. And that's where he is going to get questioned like he should be second guessed. Unfortunately, you don't want it to be the case, but you have to make it the case, and that part, sucks because he's a good dude and he works hard, but he's just got to get it done, man. He's got to get it done. All righty, let's get to a little music history. Why don't we? On October 13th. Let's get into it here. Where are we? Here we go. Let me take off the glasses. Okay. In 73, the Rolling Stones on this date started a 4-week run at #1 on the album charts with Goat's Head Soup, their 4th album to top the charts. In 98, on this date, Eric Clapton's Crossroads Center opened in Antigua. In 2008, in a video message on his website, Ringo Starr announced that he no longer has the time to sign autographs and asked fans to send him any mail. In 2000, Pearl Jam's Eddie Vedder was one of the performers at a rally for Green Party presidential candidate Ralph Nader at New York's Madison Square Garden. Beastie Boys' Adam Yauch and Radiohead's Tom York were among those in the crowd of 18,000 that attended the event. In 2002, on this date, Muse took legal action against Celine Dion after she announced that her forthcoming Las Vegas show would be called Muse. The group said that they didn't want anyone thinking that they were her backing band. I don't remember that, but that's pretty good. That's pretty funny. I like that one. Let's go with some birthdays today on Friday the 13th. Caleb McLaughlin, the TV actor, is 22 years old. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, who is just completely lost when it comes to politics, is 34. Ashanti, God bless her IG, 43 years old. She's coming to perform down here in South Florida. I think she's going to one of the Miccosukee places. I'm pretty sure. Huh? Ashanti. She's coming down. I want to say it's the one in Palm Beach Martin County. What's the name of the one in Martin County? I think it's that one. Kate Walsh, by the way, actress, is 56. Matt Walsh, actor, 59. Sacha Baron Cohen is 52. Jerry Rice is 61. Margaret Thatcher was born on this date in 25. She died in 2013. Tisha Campbell Martin is 55. Kelly Preston, movie actress. Unfortunately, she was born on this date in 62. We lost her at a very young age in 2020. Paul Simon. This is a hell of a list today, by the way. Paul Simon is 82. Paul Pierce, the moron, is 46. Sammy Hagar, 76. Nancy Kerrigan. Why? I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself. She's 54 years old. Young people are going, why is he doing that? Marie Osmond is 46. And those are the folks celebrating birthdays today. Okay. Now you got it. There you go. Ashanti, yeah, Ashanti's coming. Maybe it's not listed yet. Maybe I might be breaking news. Is that what it is?
It's ASHANTI, right?
Huh? Yes.
All right. They only have right now on her tour. It's Pembroke Pines, Legends and Icons Fest.
She's going to Immokalee
with CB Smith Park.
She's going to Seminole Immokalee.
When did CB Smith Park start becoming concert?
Oh yeah, no.
I know they do like the.
That's probably a whole thing.
I got
It's not her. She's not alone.
Yeah, it's Nelly. It's
when it's
some
at
others.
CB Smith, it's
mostly festivals. Yeah,
yeah, it's like an R&B festival or something.
One thing I heard done there a lot has been the
or freestyle.
The
one of those three.
Well, I know 99.9.
Jams, WEDR.
No. The concert that
Kiss Country
puts on out there all the time.
Oh,
that's
the cook-off.
Yes, the chili cook-off. That's the one that I always see out there. I've never really seen a lot of other events.
By the way, that's a killer event. Chili cook-off is a fun event, I got to say. But Ashanti will be coming to Immokalee. I guess it's breaking news. I don't know. If it's not on the Immokalee site, take it from me. She's going to Immokalee. So if you happen to live in Port St. Lucie or Martin County and you like Ashanti, she's going to Immokalee. They'll announce it at one point or another. Don't ask me how I know these things. AOC is she's decent looking. Yeah. Can't stand her politics, but yeah, she's decent looking. Yeah, I'm not gonna call her unattractive or anything like that. She's decent looking, but yeah, I don't want people like that in Bernie Sanders and in politics. Is that we have so many bad politicians, Biden and Trump. It's like, it's just so many bad ones. It's just terrible what they do to us and how we put Matt Gaetz in office. We're a disgrace, It's just the things we do, bro. It's just I don't get it anywhere. I don't get what they're thinking in northern Florida. I don't know what they're thinking in Delaware. I don't know what they're thinking in Georgia with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I just, there's all kinds. These Democrats and these Republicans are an absolute disaster, bro. And AOC is a disaster. So yeah, not fun. Big O, there's no way Marie Osmond is 46. I didn't say 46, did I? If I said 46, I apologize. She's got to be in her 60s or 70s. Did I say 46? Yeah, let me see. Marie Osmond is 64. So I did read it backwards, 46.
And she will be in concert December 12th.
And she'll be at Immokalee also. Yes, she will be. Yes, she will be. Again, don't ask me how I know these things. Oh, that one's posted. Okay. So, I know Tesla's there. I'm going to see Tesla. I might go up there to go see Tesla. I love Tesla. I see Tesla every chance I can get. Love Tesla, man. Love them. So, yeah. And they've got Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Experience going there to Immokalee. Yeah, I was checking it out. Big O, you see that report that says McAfee pays Yeah, I saw that Aaron Rodgers makes over $1 million for appearing on the Pat McAfee show. Yeah, that's wow. That's just a little bit less than what we pay Safid Dean. Just a little bit. We pay Safid Dean a little bit more than they pay Aaron Rodgers. But, what are you going to do? What else? Big O radio show. I would like to get your opinion on runway model Marissa Dubois. Marissa Dubois. Let's see. Well, hold on a sec. I can already tell you that I may not like her. You know why? Because you already said she's a runway model. And that means beanpole. You know what I mean? The Cuban in me just does not allow me to be attractive to the beanpoles. Oh, wow. Not a beanpole. Not a beanpole. This is a different kind of model, you bastard. You snuck this up on me here. Yeah, I'm all about Marissa Dubois because she's got all the curves and a half. Yeah, I'm all about Marissa Dubois. Yes, that's yes, and yes again. You want to bring up a picture? So, yeah, Yeah, nice job by you, sir. That's you belong in the scouting department with Chris Greer. That's where you belong, sir. Because Chris Greer and company, they find talent in the first round, in the fifth round, undrafted, street free agents, trades. I mean, they have got a big time scouting department. And you, sir, I gotta say, you need to you need to be a part of that Dolphin scouting department. Somebody's got to. Anybody got to hook up there with the people in the scouting department? Somebody call Chris Greer or somebody, Reggie McKenzie or Marvin Allen or somebody, and tell them about this gentleman right here. Let me get it. Let me get your name here because where is it? Here we go. Max Support. Max Support is the man. What? Have you popped it up yet? So, like that's not a normal model. Like, oh well, but you know what? Nowadays they're not doing that anymore now, right? Now they've become more inclusive in modeling. It's no longer just the girls that are, need a hamburger or two. Because that's kind of when I look at models, I'm like, some black beans, a hamburger, just, there we go. That's the scouting department right there. That is Max Support. We're getting max support from the scouting department here on the Big O Radio Show. That's all I got to say. Max support on the Big O Radio Show. Nice job by you, sir. So, Big O, have you listened to the band Snarky Puppy? Oh, no, I have not. You know what I'm going to do, bro? I'm going to do it right now. So that way, when I get in the car, I've got Snarky Puppy. Here it is, Snarky Puppy. Okay, Empire Central, new album of theirs. And there she is. That is, that's a winner chicken dinner right there. That's what I got to say. Winner chicken dinner. Dubois. Okay. Let's see. I think AOC used to be a waitress. Well, I don't know what she was. Nelly is lucky guy to have Ashanti. Yeah, you got to figure it's getting hot in here with when you're around her, right? If you're around, as long as you like the curves and the thickness, because some guys will be intimidated with thickness. I have a couple friends of mine that they can't go in the thickness zone. It's not the attractive zone for them. For us Latinos, we're a little different, So we like our women to look like a guitar. That's just kind of the way it is. It's just, what are we gonna do? It's who we are. Can't change who you are. By the way, props to Tyreek. Did you see the video? That was so cool. Can we play that? We won't get in trouble for that video, right? Because that's not an NFL video. That's like on his Facebook and all that. The Dolphins did it? Oh, okay. So Tyreek apparently surprised the guy that intercepted the ball, that then he gave it to the mom, and people were freaking out. And I mentioned this earlier in the week. The dude came out with an apology. He didn't realize at the moment, and then the security person, and then a couple of, hey, yo, his mom's right. And then he gave it back, right? He gave it to her right away. You know what I mean? And then he got all this heat from people, and he apologized. I saw the tweet from the guy, and I thought, by the time, everything rolled around, like, yo, folks, calm down, dude, relax. Don't make him look like he's like this evil dude or something. If he would have kept the ball, like didn't we watch recently some guy catch a baseball from a kid or something like that, and he kept it, and then people were like, okay, you do a dick move like that, then okay. But the guy made an honest mistake, and I thought what Tyreek did was off the chain, bro. That was cool. That was super cool. Super cool. Go ahead, fire away.
All right, guys, what's up? This is Tyreek Hill, aka the Cheetah. I don't know if you guys remember the viral video with my mom after the touchdown celebration. So as I'm giving the ball to my mom, let's just say a lucky fella tried to steal the ball away from my mom. But today will be his very lucky day, as I will be surprising him with some autographed signed items from myself. So let's get it, man. Let's get into it.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
What am I doing here? Remember?
Dude, you gotta
man.
You are the coolest
How you
You are
doing?
the coolest dude ever, man. Oh my God, dude. You gotta be kidding me.
Nah, thank you so
You
much.
made my day that day. I didn't know your mom was behind us
Yeah.
that day. And if I would have known, I would have stepped aside. I said, man, the greatest football player in the NFL is jumping up right here and going to give a ball. And I said, I'm going to jump up there. I was sitting in my seat all along.
He wasn't trying to steal the ball from my mom. He just
No.
wanted to, he just wanted to hug it and make sure it wasn't nothing crazy.
You haters out there, I was giving the ball to his mom. I didn't know she was there. If I knew she was there, I would have stood out of the way for this man. He gave me a ball, went out of his way to give me a football. This is totally awesome.
All right. So Sean wants to call BS. He says the guy's a liar. So Sean, go ahead, explain yourself.
Right here. That's the gentleman right there with his hands out.
Right.
Now watch him as we go. Hopefully he doesn't restart the whole thing.
I'm giving the ball to my mom.
Thanks to his mom.
Let's just say a lucky fella tried to steal the ball away from my mom. But today will be his very lucky day, as I will be surprising him with some autograph. Let's just say to my mom. I'm giving the ball to my mom. To my mom. Let's just say a lucky fella tried to steal the ball away from my mom. But today will be his very lucky day, as I will be surprising him with some autograph signed
He knew he
items
was going to
from
catch it. He knew his mom
myself.
was there.
So let's get it, man. Let's get into
Oh,
it.
but he was going to do it anyway.
Yes. But then just say,
So he
I
played
wanted
off.
to. Yes.
Right.
Don't come because Tyreek's there and be like, I didn't know your mom was there. No, you knew the mom was there, but I wanted to grab the ball. I wanted to give it a little hug and then hand it to your mom.
And by the way,
Explain what you were doing.
technically, if he's doing that, he's really doing a favor. Because if it goes over him and then it starts bouncing around and maybe it does become an ugly situation. This way he grabbed it, it's over, nobody grabs it, and then he hands it off to mom and it's safe.
I'm going to take a line from him.
So-
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, well, all right. I give him credit, bro. I'm not gonna bash the guy. I didn't bash him before. I saw his thorough apology on Twitter, so I'll give it. And nice move by Tyreek, bro. That was really, really cool. That was really, really touching. I like that. Hallie doesn't really have major curves, and she's but she has curves. She's not a stick figure. Like I'm an Eva Longoria fan. And she's skinny, but if you watch her, she's not skinny. She's curvy skinny. You know what I'm saying? And Hallie is curvy. You know what I'm saying? Now, is she Beyonce curvy? Is she Dubois curvy? No, she's not that curvy, but she's curvy. Come on, man. Hallie's got curves. I'm just not into the Taylor Swift types, you know. That's like a stick figure. That's not my style. That's all. I need curves. Got to have some curves, bro. Robert Hudd practicing today. Yeah, I'm not surprised about Robert. It would be Connor, the one that I would be shocked at.
News from around the NFL, Deshaun Watson ruled out, by the way, which we knew was going to happen.
Yeah.
And then also Daniel Jones is out against Buffalo.
And people were like, "Did you see the whole Saquon story?" So Saquon was going after the fans because there were fans that were ripping Daniel Jones while he's in the blue tent, getting his neck checked out. And it's like, dude, I get you don't like the quarterback. I get he's not, but at the moment he's dealing with an injury, bro. It's, like have some kind of heart, man. Wait till he's healthy again and playing bad and say, I don't like him. I mean, listen, in the end, I don't know what they were thinking signing him. I just, there are things that, like, you see it and I see it. Like, most of us saw that Daniel Jones wasn't the guy, but then they saw it. And they saw something different. And it's just one of those deals. But then again, we weren't believing in Austin Jackson, and look at him now. So sometimes it happens. Dougie Fresh says, sports interview question. It was recently that Pat McAfee paid Aaron Rodgers millions for his interview. Do you think this is ethical, and what problem does that create for sports interviews? Well, I mean, that's everywhere, man. That's been going on for years. But you think players come on for free? They all get paid. All of them. Yeah, it might be a donation to a charity. If they have a lot of money already and they're established, they might make you pay a charity instead, so that way it looks better for them overall. But yeah, no, it's just one of those things. This has been going on forever, dude. Nobody goes on for free. Nobody. Okay? Just the way it is. Right, yeah. Yeah. 13-cent donuts at Krispy Kreme today. For Friday the 13th? Is that what they're doing? Really? Yeah. What the question is, what is Dandy Donuts charging today? Because that's the donut I want. Big O, good afternoon. How about Jennifer Aniston? What category is she in? You mean Aniston, not Anderson, right? Beautiful. Beautiful. Not curvy. Not curvy. But she's beautiful. There's no doubt about that. Because she's skinny. But not curvy like Hallie's got curves. Salma Hayek's got curves. Salma Hayek's got some vicious curves. True Fin Fan says, hey, I'll go on your show for free. No? LOL. Mario needs to win out the rest of the season for a lot of Miami fans to forgive him of perhaps the biggest blunder in UM history. Second biggest blunder. Don't ever say that. Jimmy Johnson owns the number one spot. Okay? The Fiesta Bowl for 4 quarters with Vinny Testaverde will always be the dumbest decision in UM history. And Jimmy Johnson does not get a break from that. I get it. Some of you are young and you don't really know the UM history. So, if you're young, I don't expect you to know this. But if you're my age, then you should know, and then you'll agree with me on that, because there's no way one decision is worse than 4 quarters of a decision. So nobody owns the dumbest decision in UM history other than Jimmy Johnson. And I don't think anybody will ever beat Jimmy Johnson for the dumbest decision ever by a UM coach. It's not even close. He gave up a national championship that day. A national title he gave up out of pure stupidity, ignorance, arrogance, whatever adjective you want to use. But Jimmy Johnson's blunder crushes anything Mario has done or Manny Diaz. It beats losing to FIU. It beats losing to Middle Tennessee State. It beats the no victory formation last week. It crushes all of them because you gave away a national title. And that can't be said in any of those other scenarios. This one, yes. So, Jimmy Johnson, owns that. And he owns it with, it's bronzed, it's gold at this point. Dougie Fresh says, I did not know that. I do, what is this? Ethnography for a living, and paying people for interviews impacts the content. However, it's a biz, so I guess it's different. Womp womp. Yeah. Yeah, they all get paid, bro. Yeah.
And you also have to remember it's a recurring for Aaron Rodgers on Pat McAfee. It's a recurring. It's not
right.
It's not a come on and explain this situation and then never have him on again. Those are recurring roles. Same as with Nick Saban on there. They do the same thing with Nick Saban too. It's not necessarily like if you're coming on to promote something or something like that, that's a little bit different. But when you're recurring guests, Aaron Rodgers, you're going to get paid.
Yeah. And Jeff, everybody brought up all the right moves yesterday about the same scenario and all that. And then that's when Tom Cruise got blackballed for defending his teammate and all that crap. And yes, we talked about it yesterday. Maybe Big O can talk to McDaniel. We can get Ben Jones a free agent center. Maybe Ben Jones doesn't fit what they do, my brother. You ever thought about that? Just heard Delta Force and SEAL Team 6 are en route. Whatever happened to its covert operations? Shaking my head so far, not getting involved. LOL. Expect gas prices to go sky high. Well, they're now pumping more gas. Now we're drilling for more oil now. We're drilling at a faster pace because, these idiots ended up using our reserves. So now they've got to, it's not to get too political for some of you out there, because I don't care about Democrats or Republicans, to be quite honest. I've told you over and over again, I'm for Americans. I don't care about Republicans or Democrats. I really don't. I think they're both a disaster, and they constantly prove it. Okay? But I've said this before. When the old man took over, you don't shut the pipeline. You open it up even more. And you drill as much as you can at this point. And then what you do is you sell to Europe, and you cut out Russia because you had an opportunity. And then with all the oil profits, you see how the Arab nations get all their oil profits and start building all kinds of things. You want your green highway? You don't do it by forcing it down Americans' throats when they can't afford all the cars yet and everything that goes on, and you don't have the infrastructure. You drill the hell out of the oil. You produce a ton of oil. You sell to the world because they're going to use it anyways, whether it's yours or Arabs' oil or Russian oil or Nicaraguan oil or whatever. They're still going to use it. The world is going to use it because they need it. And then you use the profits from that, from selling all the oil to Europe, to build your green highway in America. But you're not going to get, and you'll get there faster than doing it this way. But it doesn't matter who we vote in. The last moron we voted in put a quarter of our GDP deficit in 4 years. And now this moron takes over and is doing other stupid things. That's all we ever do, is we keep voting one moron in after another. Just because one looks like a donkey and the other one looks like an elephant, and you people want to choose sides instead of choosing red, white, and blue, this is the problem we're in. Because neither side makes any good decisions. And then the worst part is that you folks that choose sides, you refuse to see the defects of your own side. And you only want to point at what's going on the other side. It's just stuff that goes on here never makes any sense. Nothing is ever done with any common sense. Because nothing is ever done with Americans first. It's always with personal interests first. And it doesn't matter if it's a donkey or an elephant. Big O, who's better, Myers or Jason? Michael Myers or Jason? Well, I don't know why I'm being asked that. Oh, it is Friday the 13th. Okay. Who are you going with, Michael Myers or Jason? You know, the thing about, okay, none of them die. You can burn them, blow them up, shoot them, stab their eyes with hangers. They come back. Michael can drive. That's pretty good. Have you seen Jason drive? I don't think I've ever seen Jason drive. He is slow and steady. He does climb on cars. He'll like ride on a car or something.
You can
or
run,
a
you can't
truck.
outrun him. He's always there at the next turn.
Yeah, but if I need somebody to take me to, go get a donut at Krispy Kreme for 13 cents.
I'm not hopping in the car with Michael Myers.
But he can drive. But he can drive.
Yeah, but you're not going to make it to Dandy Donuts. That's not the premise of the film. Michael Myers is not dropping you to get a glazed donut.
It's a good point. I'm torn.
He's going to cut you like a donut.
They both wear masks. Damn. You know, I'm gonna go Michael because he also swims.
Love Camp Lake for like 6,000 years.
That's right. That's right. So Jason is also Aquaman.
Yeah, well, the mask helps him keep the air in.
I'm going with Jason. Jason's half Aquaman. So we'll go Jason. There we go. Not Jason Momoa. No. God, he bored the crap out of me with that Aquaman movie. That was about one of the most overrated superhero movies I've ever heard or seen in my life. If any of you thought Aquaman was good, my Lord, what is wrong with you people? That was a weak-ass movie. Oh, did you see Steve Smith? Yeah, I saw him ripping into Jerry Judy. What I want to do is just see him fight. And I got all my money on Steve Smith. That's it. I mean, he rips into Judy. What's Judy going to do? Of course there's going to be animosity. That's it. It's over. So then he'll keep ripping him and they'll keep hating each other or whatever. I just want him to fight. Now, this is where we need like Jake Paul and Dana White. Hey, you two want to settle it? Because I got Steve Smith all the way. Steve Smith will kick Jerry Judy's ass within 2 minutes. Okay? Within 2 minutes, Jerry Judy is crying, wanting to climb out of the octagon. Okay? Within 2 minutes. Okay? 2 minutes. I got all my money on Steve Smith. All of it. That's not a dude you mess with. There's certain guys you just know. Even if you think you can kick Steve Smith's ass, you're going to have to kick his ass. He's one of those kind of guys. Like, brother, you better make sure you kick his ass because he's not going to stop. He's going to be relentless. Yeah. Tony says, amen, Big O. It's all about America, not about parties. Well, Tony, we're the tiny, tiny minority. We got a bunch of people that are drunk off their dumb parties. Look at those clown Republicans right now. They can't even find a speaker, bro. They can't even agree on anything. The dumbest group I have ever seen in politics right now are the Republicans. And Democrats are king-size stupid. Okay? King size stupid. But there's nothing dumber than watching these clowns right now. Matt Gaetz is running that party. That's how much they are clowns in that Republican Party. I mean, seriously, dude. What we have in the Democratic and Republican Party is a cesspool. Okay? There are very few people that are worthy of anything in either one of those parties. It's just a joke. My 9-year-old is watching you guys with me. Say hi to him, guys. His name is Angel. Angel! Strike him out tomorrow, baby. Strike out a ton of them. And Angel, can you become president? Because maybe you can save us. Because I know, Angel, you have way more common sense than any of the fools we put in office every 4 years. Angel for president. That's what I say. Dougie Fresh says, Aquaman sucks so bad. He was my favorite character as a kid. Jason played Aquaman like he was Bigfoot costume using acting chops of a porn star. I know it was terrible, dude. Terrible. And by the way, I like Jason Momoa. Like, he's a likable dude. I like him. But that movie and that role sucked. It was terrible. Terrible. The dumbest group and greediest group we've ever endured. Well, they're all greedy. I'm not going to put Republicans more greedy than the Democrats. They're all greedy. But right now, there's nothing dumber than the Republicans. I mean, they look like just complete idiots. You know, the Democrats are a disaster, but at least they keep the stupid Bernies and the AOCs somewhat in check. The Republicans can't keep their extremes in check at all. In fact, the extremes are the ones that are ruining the party. You know, the extremes have already ruined both parties, but at least the dumbasses on the Democrat side doing a little bit better job of controlling them, whereas the Republicans, my God. And you've got these idiots. It's just really, it's a joke. It just is. You know what's the most embarrassing thing is? A Democrat or a Republican that won't admit what's wrong with what's going on with their own parties. That's the sad part. Though you folks out there need to check yourselves. Okay? That's what you need to do. Because that's the sad part. When you don't have the guts to actually look at what's wrong with your own, the people that you are voting for. You're so busy looking at the other side and not looking at what's going on your side. It's just sad. Just pathetic. But, hey, man, we're screwed either way. Doesn't matter, folks. What are you going to do? We're adding like, I don't know, what is it, over a trillion, I think, every couple months in our deficit. Oh, man. Michael Myers will turn you into a glazed donut before he takes you to Dandy Donuts. No, it's a good point. It's a good point. I thought his driving skills would help out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I can, you know what? Maybe, how about if I tell him I'm going to give you I'm going to buy you a dozen? He still won't go for it? What about if I tell him, okay, after I buy my donuts, you can go in there and, you know, there's going to be multiple people in there. Hey, I'm taking you where there's multiple people and donuts you can kill.
But doesn't he just kill certain people?
He does.
His thing is he goes after
I'm safe.
The family of people. You're right.
So I'm safe. I will get to Dandy Donuts then.
Yeah.
See, we got a loophole here.
I think we might have a loophole. And we don't know. I mean, he usually comes out Halloween. So what if you call him the day after?
The day after.
Maybe he's already full of his quota and you're good.
I'm good. Yeah. I'm good till next year.
Yeah. Just don't call him on Halloween.
Right. And you know what? Dandy Donuts is not in Haddonfield. I don't know if you guys know that, but in Haddonfield, they don't have a Dandy Donuts. So since they don't have a Dandy Donuts in Haddonfield, no bad memories for him, his family, all of that stuff. I think I will get a completely different Michael Myers that will take me to because he'll be calm, cool, collective. It's not Halloween. He's not in Haddonfield. He doesn't have to be active, like you said, till 364 more days. So I'm safe.
I think you're right. You guys could have a picnic.
A donut picnic. I like it. We can build a donut castle. Okay.
It's thrown in this chat that the reason he's killing people is because he's out of donuts.
Well, I'm taking him to get donuts.
Yeah, but does he trust you? Does he trust you to get them with as many people that have tried?
How can you not trust
and
his
trick
face?
him? I'm just saying. We're fat guys going to food. Are you going to get the donut, or is he going to get the donut? If there's only one donut left when you pull up.
Oh no, he gets it. He gets it.
Oh, see, that's right. I'd fight to death. I'd fight to death.
No.
For half the donut.
No, I'll live for the next day.
No,
I'll live for the next day. They will make more donuts.
You're not a true fat man.
But I want to live to stay fat. So, let's see. You make no effing sense. Oh, LOL. Well, that's kind of the idea of the entire segment, is not to make any sense. Jason doesn't even stop for hot girls. Michael will stand there and watch. That's true. He will watch. Yeah, he will. He will. Oh, remember the message places that would get advertised in Miami Herald sports pages. Are those places still around? Are they worth it for a good massage or a shady place? You're asking me like I visit them constantly? Do they still? I never get the newspaper. Do they even have?
I still have the ones from before. They don't expire.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay. All right. Jason Momoa is overrated as an actor. I would go with that. I don't think he's much of an actor. Likeable dude, but not much of an actor. I would go with that. Oh, would you get the Austin Powers Mike Myers, not the Halloween one? Ah, there we go. I like it. Get me a donut, baby. Yeah, I like it. All right, we thank Anthony Chiang and Safid Dean. Don't forget, we will have David Furones dropping later in the show, later in the afternoon, probably early evening. David Furones will drop. We'll get the latest from practice, and Mike McDaniel is talking now. Actually, he just talked, so we'll get his thoughts on what happened in practice, who practiced, who didn't, all that kind of stuff. So we'll get some of the latest stuff with David Furones later on. Tomorrow, we'll be back in the evening post-game. I'm not doing a pregame for the Canes. Late night, yeah, late night. It'll be tomorrow night after the Canes and UNC. We will be on with a post-game show. Manny Navarro, who normally joins us on Fridays, will be joining us tomorrow post-game. So we'll get him straight from the locker room. He's traveling up to North Carolina to cover that. This could be a game that could be one hell of a performance and a big, huge win, or it could be a real concern if there's a loss. So we want to make sure here on the platform that we're on top of it for you. So we're going to cover that for you on Saturday night, and we'll give you the honesty that you can't get, from the flagship stuff where they've got to play PC. And then Sunday, Sean and I will have the pre- and post-game show for the Miami Dolphins and the Carolina Panthers, starting off at 11 a.m. Don't forget, you can make a donation anytime you're watching the show, podcast, whatever, watching it on Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. What do you got for me there? Oh, thank you, Leon Fresco, for House Speaker. You guys really want to kill me, don't you? You want to get me tied into politics. You really want to kill me. Can you imagine? You think I could stay in a room for 2 minutes? No, for 2 seconds with Matt Gaetz. You know the ass kicking that I would give Matt Gaetz physically? Like physically. I could not ever be the House Speaker. I would be arrested over and over and over again. I can't hit Bernie Sanders because he's too old. But deal with that? I mean, you're asking me the House, so I don't have to deal with Bernie. But, oh, God, no, there's too many people on Democrats and Republicans that I cannot stand. Ugh, God. It would be fun, I'll tell you that. If you don't like Matt Gaetz, you'll enjoy me beating the shit out of him. Because I guarantee you, I will kick his ass round side. Like over and over again. George Santos. Oh, God. That guy would live with my foot up his ass. The hell out of here. Wham. Yeah, no, I could never be Speaker of the House. There's too many people. I can't do it. William Hall goes, look how behind he is. Marie Osmond can't be 46. I screwed up. It's 64. That's funny. But he won't hear this for an hour. Oh, that is too much. Problem is lobbyism and bipartisanship or bipartisanship is all messed up. Got to stay out of it. And the problem is it's all privates. It's all companies that have bought all these people. They're all bought, dude. That's all. Every one of them. Doesn't matter who you're looking at. They're all bought. I don't care if you're Paul Rand or you're Pelosi. They're all bought. But, you tell a Democrat that, they won't believe it. You tell a Republican that, they won't believe it. I mean, I told you, I was talking to a Republican friend of mine the other day. It's like, he's in complete denial about the House and the mess and everything. And I'm like, what's wrong with you, bro? Come on. I mean, it's shameful. Really, it's shameful. So, anyway. Stephen Harris says, good afternoon, Big O and Sean. Did you see this clip on Twitter? Yes, we talked about it already. I think we should draft Tua in this year's draft. I think so, too. I think we should draft the brother to be a backup to the brother. I like that. I like that. I don't look at the brother like this brother. I don't think they're in the same class. Let's thank Sean Stanley, as always, the man that gets it done and masters his entire platform. We thank, of course, Larry Schlossberg and all the great people out here at Craig Zinn's, Acura Pembroke Pines, Pat Nasto, Tony Stampone, some amazing people out there, Mr. Zinn, as always. And we love the fact that they are proud sponsors of this platform for like 14 years already. Not the platform, but the show overall, because it's been in radio form and then also here on YouTube. So we appreciate it. Thank you all out there. Please don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. Watch the channel as much as you can. Watch hours are very important for us. So watch. Even if you got to walk away, let it play. It's a beautiful thing. Walk away, let it play. Got to go to a meeting? Let it play. Got to go to the bathroom? Let it play. Got to go eat? Let it play. Got to go talk with the wife or the husband or the brother or whatever? Let it play. We love it that way. Please visit our sponsors. Make a donation, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. We will have merch very soon. Coming very soon, I promise you. Right around the corner, too. We'll see you tomorrow night. Post-game show. University of Miami and UNC back here for the post-game show. See you tomorrow night.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.